No, I think it'll be fine. It'll just be some, trash talking, some fun, all of that, since,
We shall see. We shall see.
Yes. All right. Are you ready to roll? Are you ready to fly? Are you ready to go back in time?
Do you remember the time?
Do you remember the time? That was a fire video. Like one of the best music videos ever created.
I think that was done by John Singleton, right?
I think so as well. He had Eddie Murphy. He had not Naomi Campbell. It was the other supermodel. I can't think of her name, but I just seen
the
it's
the
a
video
picture
for that. I know you're talking about. I know exactly where he's sitting in the crowd and they around him,
right
around Singleton. Yeah. I think they say that's one of the most expensive videos still to this day.
I believe it. Or wait, is it that one or is it Michael Jackson and Janet's Scream video? Because I remember that was up there too.
That might be up there. I don't. But see, I can see that one being more expensive. But I mean, I don't know. It's
Scream?
Either way. You said who?
Scream or Remember the Time?
Oh, Remember that. I can see both of them being very expensive. Just the CGI, the graphics for the Scream, but then in Remember the Time, you have that, the choreography, the cast, and everything on top of it. So I'm not. It's probably one of them two. I know for a fact. But Michael Jackson owned that most expensive.
He do. Michael didn't mind dropping no money on nothing. But I mean, R.I.P. to the legend, the great.
R.I.P. to the great, the greatest.
Yeah. We're gonna talk about another great today. Not on that Michael level, not at all, but maybe in the DC universe.
In the DC realm, baby. We here.
Yes, we are. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Was It Good Though podcast, where we discuss, debate, and sometimes argue on movies and TV shows, old and new. I am one of your hosts. My name is Jazz. I am joined with Jason. Jason, how are you feeling this evening?
I am amazing. Glad to be here with you today. How are you feeling?
I'm good. I'm doing very well. I need you more upbeat because of what we are reviewing today. So this whole calm Jason.
I'm good. I'm good. I promise. I'm here. I'm here. We getting ready. We ready to discuss. I done went back. I done did some rewatches. So yeah, man.
Sound like you wasted a nice amount of hours for this.
No. I never wait. No time wasted. No time wasted. It was all useful.
All right. Well, for anybody joining us for the first time, thank you. For all of our folks returning, thank you and welcome back. This is our episode 56. Ooh, I can see 60 from a distance. We getting there. We're going to get there very soon.
Yeah, almost.
But for our episode 56, we will be reviewing The Flash that just recently released last month. Actually, no, it released in June. Yes. And so, June. I'm trying to get my movies together when they release because we've been watching a lot of movies this past couple of weeks. So,
a lot.
Yes. So if you have not seen this movie, since we will be discussing it, that means we, of course, will be spoiling it. So if you want to find out where to watch this, it is in the movie theaters since it did just release. And just pause the pod, put a reminder. So once you check the film out, come back and hear what we had to say, because I'm pretty sure it's going to be a wild review. But please be sure to like, subscribe, rate, review, all of those things. Yes, let's go ahead, and this is our first DC film that we are reviewing. Yes.
Really?
I can't think of another DC film that we reviewed because we were not touching Shazam, not that shit. Oh, and this is your warning. This will be an episode where adult language will be shared. Violence will be chosen. So if you don't want to have your kids listening to that, go ahead and put them to sleep and then come back to the pod. But yes, Jason, this is our first DC film.
I see, man. I'm looking like, dang, that's crazy. So yeah, the hate affixes in. The hate is in the air, clearly, because Shazam wasn't a horrible movie. I wasn't going to review Black Adam, but Shazam 1 or 2, they hold up pretty well. So, we get the Flash. Last time we called Flash, he was in the Justice League movie. So I did. I actually went back and rewatched that as well, just to see, what it was that Barry gave to us in that movie that could be referenced back in here. But of course, it was the food thing, and of course, the first scene that we get is Barry at a coffee shop. He's trying to get some food, but the guy is, of course, Barry is always light years ahead of anybody in front of him, so he's always in a rush, but he's always late, and that's just like a common a common thing for him. But I guess if you're the fastest man in the world,
I mean, he's saving lives and kids and families and babies and all of that and dogs. So I guess it's okay to be a little late.
I mean, a little bit. What did you think about this introduction scene? We see, Barry use the Speed Force.
So when he got the call from Alfred, and we got I guess you could call this a serious fight scene, serious chase scene. It was like, okay, we get into it quick. And I'll go ahead and say this really quickly. I saw this at an early screening. So it was me with a bunch of other people, and we were watching this before it released. The girl beside me had an amazing time watching this movie. Sis laughed at every single joke, and her laugh was extremely aggressive. So it had me thinking, damn, am I not laughing enough? Because she was laughing so hard at certain things. So I was just like, all right, cool. But I enjoyed this scene. I was curious what you thought of Bruce's suit, because I'm pretty sure once we got that scene of him coming in, you probably just got extremely excited. Like, oh my God, Ben Affleck in the suit chasing folks during broad daylight. Because the last time we saw, Batman chasing anybody was dark as fuck outside, in the reference to the Batman movie that dropped last year. So in this one, it's broad daylight. It's not raining. So we're able to see what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So before I get to the hospital scene, because I damn sure want to ask your opinion about all of that, how did you feel about this chase scene?
I enjoyed it.
I bet you did.
I did. I really did enjoy it. It just, I mean, it's Batman chasing. We get plenty of them. I don't think it was. I feel like the Penguin one in the Batman movie was better. I really enjoyed that one. But that scene was built up. This is an introduction. So just to see Ben Affleck as Batman again, I enjoyed that. I know you not a fan. So where are you at as far as with Ben Affleck? You still not feeling him? That's just not doing it for you?
I mean, I'll say I liked him in this movie. I did like his suit. I'm not even gonna lie. Like when I saw it, I was like, oh, that's kind of fire.
It kind of looked like the animated series. I mean, it looks more tactical, but right. It looks a lot like the gray, the black. I think he had a yellow belt, or am I tripping?
I don't remember the color of the belt, but I don't think
he had no yellow belt. I take the back.
Okay, but I definitely agree with you. It definitely reminds me of the now that you say that, of the suit from some of the animated series. So that was a very good callback. But this scene, like, I was glad we got it, and with us getting it so early, I thought was really dope. And then you see Barry at the hospital. He's just like, Bruce, why you not here? I'm sick of cleaning up your mess. Why you didn't call anybody else? And so he was just like, you just on cleanup duty. This was not no cleanup duty. I mean, it wasn't any villains there, but I'm sitting here like, remove the plot armor. Oh, everybody is dead. Like,
what you mean?
Do you think, like, come on, Jason, you think Barry could have really been saving all them babies?
I do.
I feel like one of them would have probably
slipped through. I don't. So the one that slipped through was in the microwave,
and that microwave would have failed, and then
I don't see. That's I know I asked you previously, like, what's your history with the Flash? Because dealing with the Flash, it's either I feel like with the Flash they dumb him down often, so he isn't as strong as Superman. But Flash is as strong as Superman, not physically, but if it was a situation where he had to get Superman out of here, he could, as long as I'm telling you, he can get Superman the fuck out of here just based on him going to the Speed Force. Him because Superman can't reach it. I mean, now Barry get there fast enough. You know, I know often people say all you gotta do is run in time to kill him as a. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm literally saying if him and Superman, you know, like if he's at his strongest, he can get Superman the fuck out of here.
Do you think that the Flash could take Omni-Man from Invincible?
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. That's because I mean, can Superman take Omni-Man? What you think?
That's another good question. I remember we had
Superman, if Superman was mad though, because you know he often Superman hold back punches. His son, I feel like the son holds back his punches as well. Omni-Man's son, Invincible. Hell, I couldn't even think of his name. I think he holds his punches. Oftentimes, these people, the people that we really like Spider-Man, he holds his punches. Like if he was actually out here throwing hands, it'd be over for a lot of people.
Yeah,
You don't think so?
I
my God.
I don't know. I'm not saying I don't think so. I'm saying I don't know.
But then these my top
I know.
3.
That's why I'm just
so it's like
it's
but yeah, they was Batman, he's not. So but Flash is one and Spider-Man is another one. So yeah, like Flash just I feel like he super friendly, you try to hold back a lot. So if he was just really thinking about it, him going through somebody. Like if you just think about it, if he wanted to, he could phase through a person and then just explode you. Like that would be kind of
it's like I want to see it happen.
I do too.
But I doubt like we'll get that.
I think we will, honestly, when because it has to come out. We like his dad's going to die. Like that's an inevitable thing that's going to happen. His dad's going to pass away. We're gonna find out who killed his mama, and I think that's gonna drive him to that space, to that place. But you know, this hospital scene, I think one of my biggest gripes with this movie was you see it early, was the CGI for it.
A lot of people were upset how it looked. A lot of people were.
But I don't know the fix for it though.
So did it seem as if it was more of playing a video game visuals type or like an animated movie? You didn't get
I've seen better video games as far as visually. Like I've seen video games be more visually appealing when I'm looking at them. So I don't even think it was that. But you know, there's the Flash TV show, and I'm gonna be real. I like the way this Barry runs, but I think I may like the visual part of the other one. Like when we get that intro scene when Barry runs and it takes us through that long, which was actually dope for them to actually make it, which kind of made me kind of feel sick when I seen this scene. I was just like, man, hold up. I'm finna throw up.
Did you see it in IMAX?
I didn't. But wherever I seen it, it felt like I was in IMAX. It felt like I was out there running with him. I was looking like, man,
I'm with you, Barry. I'm with you.
I was like, hold up, because this is, you know, this is a bit much, you know, when I'm watching it. So I don't know. Is that something I feel like they will have to tweak the next time we see him? It is. I do like the way he moves, like his movements and things of that way. It looks super fluid when he's doing it. But yeah, when it comes like that's a thing with Flash. I was going to ask you, because we're in the hospital scene, what is your favorite speedster moment? Not from Flash, just from any speedster that you've seen on TV. And if you can't, what?
How many speedsters are out here that's just going? Oh, actually, I got one.
You got Quicksilver.
I got
one. You got Sonic. You got Shorty from Eternals. Okay, go ahead. My bad. I was just throwing them out there for you.
I'm gonna say mine is A-Train from The Boys when he went through old dude's girlfriend.
Okay, that was a moment. That was definitely a moment.
And it was the opening scene to a new series.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you're gonna catch a person, that'll be how you do it. And I'm just saying, you can't think A-Train in any field next to Barry at any point in life.
But so I'm rooting for everybody black.
I'm not rooting for A-Train. Fuck that black nigga. Nah, I don't care what Jazz talking about. That brother is a sellout for the brothers. He out here in dashiki cloth, The white man runs him. Nah, I ain't cheering for that brother there. I'm not cheering for that brother. But yeah, it also kind of made me think about Sonic a little bit, like, because in the Justice League movie, he does talk about, like I said, he talks about having to eat. But now we see he has a gauge that actually shows him, hey, this is where your energy is. It almost felt like a video game when he did it, but it was like, I mean, that's a real thing. Like, they burn so many calories, they have to be able to eat. I almost feel like a Dragon Ball Z moment as well, because like Goku and them niggas need to eat. They gonna eat. They don't care what's going on. The world's gonna be blowing up anyway. When I get there, it's still gonna be blowing up. Let me get this out the way.
I don't want no hero like that. I be sitting there like the villain is on his way to my house, and I'm like, all right, Goku, you got a few minutes. My nigga, where you at? And then it cuts to him eating. I'm like, Goku, come on. I just got this car.
I mean, he can do an instant transmission, so let that man eat. Let that man eat.
Hey, I'm here for anybody trying to eat.
But we get a Wonder Woman sighting in the movie. What do you think about this scene?
So it caught me off guard, but I appreciated it. But then I also said, bitch, you keep popping up in movies. Because did we not see her in Fast X? Spoiler alert.
Oh, yeah. She was in Shazam too.
You know what? So she was, and I never mentioned this to you, but I can go ahead and mention it to you now. So when I was on vacation the other week, Shazam was on TV, and me and my dad was watching it. I was half asleep, intoxicated, and it was already on. So we was just like, what is this? I said, oh, this is damn Shazam. And it was part 2. And then I did see her pop up in the end. I was just like, what? And my dad said Shazam was trash as well. So I did see the end of Shazam.
Yeah,
or like the last 30.
There's just some DC love y'all have built up, that y'all just have this animosity toward these people, and they've done nothing.
No, that's not it. It just wasn't a good movie, Jason.
You haven't seen it. How would you know?
What I saw wasn't good.
I don't know your dad taste in movies, so I can't speak on your dad taste in movies, but you know.
I think he liked the Batman.
Okay.
I
think. Got you. But you know, during all this, I don't know how much time has passed within this, but Barry makes it back to his sandwich, and it was just getting done, which lets me know either he was moving very slow or Flash was moving fast as hell.
I mean, Batman almost fell off a bridge, which I'm just like, a lot of the moments in this, I was just like, of course, Batman's going to have the ending that he's supposed to have and get his ass beat a lot, or to where he needed additional help. And with Ben Affleck at the beginning, he needed Wonder Woman to come help him out, or that toxin was going to get in the water and just mess up Gotham City
forever.
Right. But I mean, that's what that plot armor, that's what it's about. So
plot armor.
I mean, it helps situations.
Hold on now. We're not what makes it plot armor though?
Wonder Woman coming to help Batman?
Yeah. What makes that plot armor?
Because I feel like if it was just a Batman movie, it wouldn't have even gotten that close to where he almost let the guy go.
So plot armor is one thing. I wouldn't call it that. I would just say this is a way to introduce a different character in this moment.
All right, Jason.
It's not. I don't think that's plot armor.
Okay. It might not be plot armor
because he dies 100 times, so it's not plot armor. Well, he doesn't, but
two different bats.
But I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Not plot armor, but it was written that way to be like, it's okay for him to almost fail because we got backup for him.
Yeah. I mean, so typically, like you said, he typically would find. I mean, even if he did, because shit, I went back, watched Batman here. He fell off the building 100 times. Here, he fell off with the girl. He just be hanging there at that point. Like, I don't know. I never know how he get up to wherever he gonna go. But he just be hanging with the girl.
It's got a really strong rope in there, like the wire, and it just bring it back up.
Which there's a joke from that movie I'm gonna bring up later in here, because he brings it up, which it was a nice 30-year callback, but it is what it is. So he gets his sandwich. Of course, he's late to work. The boss tells him, you shouldn't be in the same place where you still getting coffee. Go get me some coffee. And I would have been like, and I would have walked.
That's your
Went
job,
else.
Jason. That's your job. You just gotta take that L.
Ooh, hell
Because I mean, he
no.
was in the wrong. I know.
Hell no. But we get introduced to Miss Iris West, which is the love interest of Barry in the comic. How did you feel about their chemistry in this movie?
It wasn't any.
There was no chemistry.
It was non-existent. Chemistry where? I'm just like, what is this? Was she in the other? Was she in the like the previous movies? Okay.
She was in the well. He's only been in one. That was the Justice League movie.
Right.
They have the scene where she gets into a car wreck and it throws her out of the car, and he's outside the same exact time, and it's the first time we see him running.
And that's what the scene that she referenced in this movie. Because I remember she said, okay. She was like, I've seen you recently. He was just like, no. And I was just like, that must be a callback to an earlier film that I have not watched and won't go back to see.
You didn't watch the Justice League movie?
So I watched the Snyder cut.
Oh,
it took me
even
2 days, and I fell asleep on it 3 times.
Got you. I watched it last night, man.
Of course you did.
The Wonder Woman introduction scene, that shit's actually amazing. I didn't appreciate the first time I seen it because when they first brought it out, that was the one they kept showing all over the place. But if you actually sit back and watch it, and maybe because I was, inebriated, but I had some appreciation for them showing it was going in slow motion, but then it'll show fast motion, just really like this is what it looks like for her, but this is what it looks like for the people that's watching it. So that was super dope in how they did that. So shout out to Zack Snyder. So
now that you mention that, because that just reminded me of some comments that I saw when people said they didn't like the graphics and CGI in this movie. Mm-hmm. And I feel like one of the individuals on the project came out and said, well, they wanted to make it look like how it would look from Barry's point of view. So he would see things how we saw them with him going at fast speed. Mm-hmm. I feel like I saw that article online, and I don't think I sent that to you, but got you. I mean, because it makes sense. But like I said, everything being animated, it's kind of hard to then use just regular. I don't know how they can do that. Just use regular people, like in some of those scenes. But also, you don't want to suspend real babies out the air. As he's trying to catch them or line them up, which, like I said, I love the character, the way they wrote this character because he's real nerdy, and the way he has to explain all the different things that he has to do in order to make a situation safe for different people. So him running with people that's never been a safe thing. So him being able to explain how he can do it in the way he does it or why he does it the way he does, I feel like they hit it on the head with it. And I don't know if the director or the writers, one of them were really in tune with who this person was or this character was, so I really appreciated that. Them bringing that out. But Flash, he makes it to the house. He gets this. Bruce left him a video. There's a video of his father who is in jail, and apparently this nigga been in jail for like 20 years. Like, what kind of case is that? Well, I guess it was an appeal. It was an appeal. So I'm like, what the fuck kind of case runs for 20 years? They would have gave a brother the chair a long time ago. They would have given a brother a chair. Like, yeah. Yeah, as soon as it wouldn't even been no looking at the crime. You know what I'm saying? So we got this video. He wants this video to be able to prove his dad didn't do it. But of course, in the video, even after Bruce cleaned it up, the dad for some reason keeps his head down, which we do find out later in the in the movie why he has his head down. So then he speaks with Bruce, and Bruce tells him that is very irresponsible. What you got, Jan? And I was gonna say, so during that scene when he's talking to his dad, we get a flashback as to what happened to his mom. Mm-hmm. And so we see a young Barry family. They looking nice. They're in a really safe neighborhood. I made sure to check out the neighborhood when I was looking around because this movie, and when I was watching this my second watch, I was trying to see any kind of similarities this had with the 2013 Justice League Flashpoint Paradox animated series.
Okay.
Excuse me, movie. And so there were a few similar elements, but of course not the same. When we discussed this earlier, it was just like probably won't be the same thing or the same story. And so Barry's upstairs chilling and he hears his mom get attacked. He comes downstairs and his dad is over her, of course, frantic. You know, his wife has a knife stuck in her stomach. I was just like, okay, so you just had somebody break into the house, stab your wife, and then leave during the day in this really safe looking neighborhood? And I was just like, well, damn. But I'm curious, and I wish we could, well, I don't know if we're going to get a second film, hopefully they recast, but to see who actually killed his mother and like how that whole thing, what you looking real suspicious. Do you have some folks in mind who you think committed the murder? Or
I mean, I don't, so some things have to stay the same, right?
Absolutely.
So Bruce's parents being killed, that has to happen. Barry's mom being killed, the dad being framed, that has to happen. Typically it's the same person. And that's why I feel like when that does come back, that I don't, but that villain is too big of a person for it to, you know, span just one movie. So it'll be interesting to see if it's just a one-off thing and they kill that person off, or it'll be something that'll continue down the road.
Right. Do you think it was the Reverse Flash?
That's typically who does it. It's always the Reverse Flash because he needs Barry to get fast or to become a hero so he can get faster or be better than Barry. Like it's a trippy thing where he's tripping off in the future, so he's the one that creates it to make Flash who he is, to try to then make himself better for whatever reason. It's weird. It's a weird.
I mean, it's one of those things to where the hero is always the one that creates their arch nemesis, which is kind of what we discussed during Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
True. And now this is like the reverse of that.
No, I know, but no, technically it's Flash. Barry needed to become the Flash, so then Reverse Flash can become Reverse Flash. So he had to make sure, let me go back in time, make sure, go ahead and get your sis up out of here, so then you could be Reverse, so you can be Flash. Yeah. So I guess if that's the case.
But he does it as Reverse Flash, though. That's the weird thing. Like, he runs in time, he runs in the past and kills this man with mama, and then runs back to his timeline.
But I guess what was the point of you actually doing that if it... Okay, that's where it gets weird.
That's why I said it's a weird thing, but he needs something from Barry. Right. So if Barry doesn't become Flash, it doesn't happen. So that's why he needs him to become Flash.
Oh, so so what about this? Barry found that he can time travel, goes back in time to try to save his mom, which messed up Reverse Flash, because if that's the case in that timeline, he doesn't become Flash, which means Reverse Flash doesn't come Reverse Flash. So he said, okay, because then that's like a timeline event on top of a timeline event.
I mean, but Reverse Flash don't care what happens to his world timeline. He don't care about the future or the past. As long as he is who he is, that's what he. But we gonna get it. They'll break it down for it, because it'll be different. It's different in every one of them. Like I said, that was on the Flash TV show. I think even Flashpoint. What, not Flashpoint. He just went back to go save it, but that's when you find out, you know, who is the one who killed her. Let me see. Yeah, but he, like you say, you told him, you know, it'll be irresponsible to be if you could go back in time, would you, to fix a situation?
So I don't know. I really don't, because maybe going back in time to fix a situation will make everything better, but it can fuck everything up. But then it's just like, is the timeline I'm currently on worth messing up? I'll say no. But I would go back in time just to see things. Like, I wouldn't change nothing, but let me just to be like, watch.
So you be creeping on yourself.
Yes. I'd be, because then I would intervene like, Jazz, delete that one's number. which will probably save me time. Yeah. Actually, I wouldn't creep on myself. I'd probably creep on other people. That's worse.
What's this nigga? You remember you said you was doing so and so on this day?
Listen.
Remember that, nigga? I got the pictures.
Where'd you get these from? Would you go back?
I ain't worry about that, man. That's a tough one, because that's what leads to depression. Like you being stuck in the past, like you being unable to let go of what was. Yes, I would. I'll fuck up a whole bunch of lives. Yep, I definitely would. I would change a whole bunch of shit.
Wow, I thought you were about to go an adult, mature route. Jason said, "Nah, fuck all that. I'm changing everything.
I'm changing a whole bunch of shit." And I don't.
So if I decide to go back in the past and change anything, I wouldn't go that far in the past. I would go a couple of months.
Okay, so you
no more than that.
So my situation, it probably would be like I'm gonna say detrimental. I'm not saying I don't enjoy my life, I don't love things, but I probably would definitely when it was time for me to go to college, I probably either one or two things. I would have went to the Air Force because I was heavily. I feel like they probably do that to everybody, but I was heavily recruited. We're gonna air quote that because them motherfuckers would not stop calling me. But it was the Air Force, it wasn't just the Army, so I was just like, shit, I'd be in planes, nigga, come on. But I kind of listened to my parents in that one. So I would either join there at 18, right out of high school, or when I was in college, I would have stayed in Memphis. I wouldn't have left. I would have stayed in Memphis because I was a lot more focused on school and stuff like that. And I just think it would have been a different outcome, a better outcome. Because I could have always moved. Like I did it abruptly because of how I felt at that moment. And feelings are temporary. So I made a move off that. And like I said, I don't regret. I don't regret the decision, but I definitely feel like I should have. It should have been more thought put into the decision when I made it.
No, I feel that.
So then they just still referring to this situation. Then Iris pulls up as Bruce pulls off. Of course, Batman. Bruce. He always got one of the hardest cars. I definitely put Bruce in that James Bond conversation of like who has like the cleanest car. Like they always have like some type of not my Michael Keaton Batman. He didn't have good cars.
Wait a minute. Let's not do that.
He had a Cadillac Seville.
Look what year his movie dropped.
You think they had Porsches back then?
Maybe they didn't have it available when his movie was filming.
Yeah, all right. This nigga can jump off tall buildings, gliding through the air.
Look,
he can go get a nice
Michael
car.
Keaton had Michelle Pfeiffer and Kim Basinger.
Mm-hmm.
Now in the 90s,
what happened with Kim on the second movie?
So in the first movie, it was two different characters because it was her. Wait,
no, it wasn't.
She was still Selena Kyle.
Oh no! It was
right.
It was Vicky
Vale.
It was Vicky Vale.
Right.
I mean, what happened to her in the second movie? She could have still been there.
You mean the third?
In the second movie, she's not in the second movie.
Are you talking about Kim Basinger?
Yeah, Batman Returns.
Oh.
Why wasn't Vicky Vale character in there? They refer back to her, but she like they left like in a relationship.
They probably wanted to insinuate Bruce just be talking to different women because if you think about it, the same thing happened in all the other movies. They never really had a reoccurring love interest for Batman, Bruce.
He can play. He's definitely a playboy. Definitely a playboy.
I mean, he is, but
that's Bruce. As Iris pulls up, she wanted to talk about some stuff. He goes ahead and clean up his.
How did she know where he lived?
I mean, she's I'm gonna, Gail. She got some Gail Weathers in her. Maybe I don't know. Some investigative journaling. It probably wasn't hard to figure out.
If somebody from actually, never mind. I was about to say if a crush from college showed up at your door out of nowhere. Yeah, Jason's like, come on up. Um,
You know.
actually, college? Hell no, not college. Sorry, anybody from college that's listening to this. But nah, I thought this scene with them talking though, I thought it was funny. Barry ain't have nothing in his refrigerator, sir. You always have to have food because you are always moving around, so you need snacks. You need something, and you have nothing in your fridge. But I guess if he can just steal some drinks and stuff from his neighbor's house, I mean, what's the point of spending money on your own groceries when you can take somebody else's? Am I right?
Oh, of the powers that you've seen of Flash in this movie, what was your favorite?
It was it phasing to where you can go through solid
Go through solid objects.
hell yes. I am absolutely doing that. And I'm gonna phase through a bank.
Something is wrong with you.
Jason, would you not phase through a bank and go to the vault?
Nobody there never see me. They never
wouldn't
see it happen. They wouldn't
wouldn't
see it
see
happen.
nothing. I'm gonna phase through a Chick-fil-A and get all that Chick-fil-A sauce.
Something is wrong with you. You go to Walmart and steal some. They got the jars of it now.
So I got one of those a few weeks ago. The Chick-fil-A sauce I got in the it's crazy. I was gonna post like I might have a problem, y'all. That shit is so good with fries.
It is. It's fire. It's fire. I might get some Chick-fil-A when we finish. I don't know.
That do sound good.
Chick-fil-A with a milkshake. Oh, with some dope in. You know what? Let me keep moving. Let me keep moving on this. But in this conversation, of course, you know, we already know this, but he lost both parents in one day. That's probably, you know, definitely a traumatic experience. Obviously, he's affected. They don't really say where he was within this time. We know at least when Bruce lost his people, he was with Alfred. Barry and them they didn't have that kind of money, it doesn't seem. They had they had some pretty decent money, it seemed, but I don't know where he went after that. But him and Iris are talking about different things, and he was just saying, you know, all over a can of tomatoes, which this gives you the story. So you've like I said, you've opened my eyes on to different stories and things of that nature. So for you, how did you feel about this story that was told in this movie? Did it make sense for you, Jensen?
I mean, it did, but I feel like it was mid.
Why is that?
Because it was just somebody just broke into your house, killed your mom. We don't know if they stole anything, but of course we can go ahead and say it was Reverse Flash, and he knew everything was going to happen, and that it would look like his father did it. So then you don't have to worry about the whole thing to where Barry doesn't have any parents. So I guess with that knowledge, okay. But imagine going to see this movie, you don't have any kind of knowledge of anything that I just said. So me personally, like, I kind of expected maybe where the story was going, because I was just like, it'd probably be similar to Flashpoint. But for someone who's never seen Flashpoint or any of the previous films, it's just like, well, who's out here just stabbing people in the stomach with a kitchen knife in the middle of the day? And it was a Sunday.
Your favorite movie is Scream.
A lot of people are dying in that movie. And it's not a superhero movie. And Ghostface,
I'm just saying, it's just a random murder in the middle of the day. It is, you should be used to that.
Do you think Barry's mother got a phone call saying, "What's your favorite scary movie"?
She might have.
She didn't. Who the hell is she? Didn't. Why wasn't the doors locked? Why wasn't there an alarm?
Then it was around the same time the movie was out and everything.
Ghostface ain't killed his mama, so stop.
I said it came out around the same exact time and everything. They killed their mama. That's how everything started. Boom, boom. But
he didn't kill his mama. Oh, well, okay. He had somebody else kill his mama.
Exactly. So, all right. So for you, it's without the prior knowledge, it was mid. So with the knowledge of, because this is going to come back. I don't know if it's going. I feel like it should be the third movie in this. Like, it should be the third movie. Because in the second movie, Flash is top. I think Flash is probably top 3 in villains. He may be even top 2. I may put Flash villains over Spider-Man villains, and I'm just going over the complete heroes. So I'm gonna throw it out here, so Jazz, you can think about it if you can. Like, I just always think about who are my favorite villains, and like, when I look at all the villains, like Batman, he's always number 1. Spider-Man may be number 2. I did a lot of deep diving into Flash, and I love a lot of his villains as well. So that's why I say Flash villains maybe be number 2 for me. So there's so many different people you can pick from to make a part 2. But like I said, I really don't know where the movie's going to go, because I did watch a James Gunn interview. And he did say the first character for his universe is the Blue Beetle. So
Right.
that doesn't come until next month. His first movie of his universe is going to be Superman. So the movie that we had with Flash, because they are saying it didn't do well in the box office. I don't know if I feel like so based on how much they spent on it, they would have took a huge loss, considering they got rid of a lot of different things from the TV side of things. The Wonder Woman movie,
she's
they
gone.
got rid of Superman, he's gone. Black Adam's gone.
Aquaman about to be out of here.
Aquaman, he's already out of here. Did you see the end credit on this movie?
Well, no, the thing is, his movie drops this year.
They are doing okay.
Yeah.
Got you. So
yeah,
they
put a year delay on his movie, but I believe his movie drops in December.
So I don't know how that's going to work, because in here, Barry erased him.
Right.
Like he erased Aquaman from the thing, which Jason Momoa was happy about it. So I don't know what. So I don't know if so just throwing out there, Jazz. Are you Lobos? You know who Lobos is?
That sounds familiar.
He's like the guy on he rides the motorcycle. Got like the black and white face, rides the motorcycle. He got like he almost kind of looks like
Punisher?
Not Night Rider. No, the other guy, the
Ghost Rider.
He looks like Ghost Rider to a little bit, but he's not.
Okay.
I don't think he's as demonic. So I was gonna say, would you rather him be Joker, or would you rather him be that guy? But you don't sound like you really know him, so I feel like you would lean one way.
That name sounds so familiar. You said Lobos?
Yeah, Lobo.
That name sounds extremely familiar. But you talking about Jason Momoa?
Yeah, Jason Momoa. Because I feel like it's just Lobo. It's just Lobo. But yeah, look at his character. Look at him. That's who Jason Momoa looks just like him.
So I'd probably go Lobo before Joker. Because I know we talked about it during our Fast X. I do remember him, because wasn't he in? Yeah, he was in a Superman animated series. But I remember we discussed in our Fast X that you mentioned that you could definitely see him as Joker. Mm-hmm. No, nah. Lobo definitely a lot more than Joker.
Got you. But, so it'll be interesting to seeing how how they treat that. Treat that character.
Do you honestly feel like they're going to try to do a sequel to this film? I don't think a sequel's coming.
I don't know how you think they're just gonna redo it. Like just redo.
I mean, because hypothetically, this is supposed to be the last film anyway. But I know it's speculation, like, oh, they left it open-ended to where you can actually continue the story if Ezra didn't do the crazy shit that he did. But I'm just like, if the movie did not do well in the box office, are you, as a studio, willing to bet another round with this actor? Because something
with the
else
actor,
might happen.
So with the actor, no. But you can do a sequel and change the person. You can always do that. Because I feel like
you could, because like at the end of this movie, you got a whole different Bruce.
Yeah, so I feel like he'd be a great fit for the Brave and the Bold, which is introducing Damien, his son,
right,
into the fold, and that's gonna be. That could be a crazy story.
George Clooney is not about to be. He's not about to come back being Batman again. He better not have nipples. No.
So he didn't have anything to do with that, and you can change certain stuff. But he wasn't a horrible Batman. I think that movie, just based on that movie, after rewatching it, it was just, I feel like that's what Hollywood was going toward in that part in the 90s. It was just super cheesy, over the top. The nigga pulled out a Batman credit card and he's like, never leave home without it. It was just like, it's just, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was just those little marks they were putting inside of movies. Like, I feel like they had to do certain stuff. Like I said, just think about all the hero movies around that time. Like, which ones stuck out? Like, which ones actually mattered that you go back, you be like, okay, I can do that. 90, this 97.
What year did Blade drop? What year did Spawn drop? That's what I would.
Those the only ones.
Those are coming to mind before this George
Those
Clooney
are the
shit.
those are the only ones. Like you got Spawn and you got and all of them like I said, all of them 90. I know Spawn was probably way earlier, but I think my dad took me to see that in theater. So a lot of them super early. But yeah, nah, it wasn't until like 2000 with Spider-Man when they started actually finding, I guess, a space for those different things. But yeah, back into the movie, Barry, he decides to go back in time. He goes back in time to give his mom the extra can of tomatoes, so she would have it, so she wouldn't have to send her dad out that day to go get it, which it works. What you got?
So, all right, come with me real quick. If it was Reverse Flash, no, because then I guess they wouldn't have anybody to pin the murder on. Because I'm just like, hypothetically, he could have just killed both of his parents, and then
he needed to affect him in the most. He needed to affect Barry in the most critical way.
To kill both parents.
I mean, to kill both. I mean, that would have been he.
Because I mean, technically, he
in the story he
both the same anyway.
Technically, in the story,
his daddy wasn't even there.
He brings his daddy to him and he phases through him in his face. That's how the story goes.
That's hard. Damn. See, this movie could have got a lot of extra points if they did that.
That's what the trilogy come from. That's what I mean. That's why I feel like it'll be, if they were to do it, it'll have to be later down the road, because it's the whole thing of why this person matters this much more in this situation. So then if you can tell the story of why this person was so jealous or so enraged with this person that you helped create, it, that's what. But it's we'll see, because I mean, a lot of people that know the story, they'll figure it out. A lot of people that don't know it, they won't. So I mean, if you enjoyed this movie, I think it'll be dope to see. So we'll see what happens when they come back. So he goes and get these tomatoes, but then he tries to come back. But then as he's running back, as he's seeing the timeline begin to spread, he gets pushed out by this figure.
How did you feel about this scene? The whole scene of him going back in time. Everything that you saw in there as if he was in an arena. How did you feel about that scene and like the visuals during that?
That's why I was saying that's the part I'm iffy on, to be honest. Because it's I don't know how you, because in the, like I said, in the other TV show, when he's running, I don't like the way he runs. It just looks weird. But what he ends up doing is he just closes his eyes and he thinks about where he wants to go. And then as he's doing that, it'll show all the different places, different scenes. They even had a cameo of the DC movies in the TV show. Like they brought them together in that, and they spoke to each other. He was like, "Yeah, but I'm in a different universe." Like, so you running around, this you doing right? Oh, okay. Well, let me go back to mine. You get back to yours. So let's do that. So it's I mean, it's a unique way to do it. I definitely expected him, Grant Gustin, to show up in this movie, or be the one at the end as the actual Flash, which that didn't happen. But I don't know. It was interesting. So when the guy threw him out, that was very similar. I haven't looked up anything, haven't researched anything, but in the comics, there's typically a guy named Savitar, which we find out the ending, which is true to the form in that as well. He keeps trying to fix a situation, but he needs to be faster. He needs to do certain things, and he just can't get to it, which we find out it's inevitable. It's not supposed to happen.
Right.
Like that's just not what's supposed to happen. So, he gets throughout of the universe. He looks over, he sees he's back at his home. I don't know why he didn't run into the house to find some clothes in there, but he strips some old people.
Look, they'll be okay.
He goes back to the house. His mom, she's singing that song he couldn't remember anymore. So he, got to hug her, which I know she was like, it's been a while since he did this. How did you feel about this moment when he was able to embrace his mom again?
I mean, I thought it was very touching because, of course, the impact of her murder and then trying to find the killer and all of that, and then finally seeing her in right there in front of him, extremely impactful scene. And then with him hearing his father, it's like, oh shit, I got my family. Like just that can of tomatoes, I'm able to have my family back. But then, of course, his dad is just like, you look old. Dads are always going to be upfront with you. They're just going to be straight to the point. And he's just like, oh. So I guess it didn't come into his mind that he was in his past, or a past, I should say. Because he was just chilling. He's like, let me go ahead and change, shower, go find some clothes, and then come back downstairs. And spaghetti is a major element in this movie. It's referenced a lot. It's eaten a lot as well.
Is spaghetti a side dish or a main dish?
We're not doing this. We're not doing this.
That's just a question.
It's a main dish. Are you about to ask me, am I gonna put fish with the spaghetti? No, Jason,
I mean, I'm just saying if you gonna put anything with it, like I be something about like I'm just gonna drink them a salad. They no meat, nothing green on the plate with the spaghetti. Like,
what you mean? You got to put some meat in the spaghetti, whether it's some ground turkey with some mushrooms or some sausage.
I can eat some chicken with that spaghetti. I can eat fish with that spaghetti. It's so many different. So it's a multitude of different things you can eat. Lamb chops with this spaghetti. Like, I just don't understand.
I don't either. We always come back to this. And I keep seeing, every time I see a meme of like spaghetti and fish, I'm like, Jason must have paid you to put this on my timeline.
You're paying people. You from the South. I don't understand how you haven't had this combination at no point.
Why are you acting like we haven't? We discussed this during the live pod weekend where you were the only person talking about fish and spaghetti.
Y'all are from the same. Y'all are from the same spot. Everybody I was talking to.
Well, Deb wasn't. Deb is from Florida, but she was raised in the same spot, Charlotte. So
same thing.
I mean, all right. Why you act like Northerners don't?
Y'all basically Northerners here. That's what y'all are to me. Y'all a lot of Northerners in my book.
All right, Jason.
And you're the only person in here, so I gotta blame you for it. I'm just curious. Like, you still ain't tried. You gotta try this. You go to Memphis, you do that.
I will have to do that.
I'm telling you, you're gonna be like, okay, this not as bad as that, because it's just fish, spaghetti, and it's fried. It ain't like a baked piece of fish. I wouldn't eat no baked piece of fish. That'd be disgusting.
And it's somebody out there that's just like, what's wrong with baked fish and spaghetti, nigga?
Nah, my boy, do better. Do better. And while he's kicking it with the family, he sees himself outside.
Did you see his bum ass kick over that trash can? Yo, I said, you are a piece of shit. This nigga, like, it reminded me of Little Chris from Friday. When he was kicking over everybody's trash cans. And I'm sitting here like, where Craig and damn Smokey to hit your ass with their car? I'm like, how you just doing that shit across the street from your parents' house? I was like, you trash. And then Barry's like, oh shit, let me go shit outside, which I guess that's not weird for his parents. And so he's trying, like, he covered up his face because, of course, young Barry is coming to bring laundry. He covers up his face with drawers. Obviously, they're dirty clothes, so shit stains is on older Barry's face.
It's his.
So there's no way you're going to go back in time, wrestle with 18-year-old Jason with his dirty ass laundry and put his drawers on your face to cover your face. Lie to me and everybody listening. And
I would have knocked him out. No, I would have just knocked him out. It wouldn't have been that situation. No, I was just.
But I'm just saying, you said, well, it's his. And I'm like, well, Jason, if you were in that situation, nigga.
No.
If you were young Barry, would you have been like, somebody's attacking me, let me try to take this mask off their face?
I mean, they didn't have a gun, so yeah, maybe.
I'm chopping them.
You chopping them in the throat?
Hell yes.
I mean, clearly he snatched him up without him even seeing his body. So, I mean, you could try that.
Look, he was able to take the drawers off his face.
He was. He was. Then he takes him into his room. And that's another thing I didn't like. Barry, he was super obnoxious in this movie. Like, that man was aggy as hell. His character as the young Barry.
It's funny because older Barry mentioned that. He was like, "What? You just talking nonstop?" And he was like, "Oh, okay." Now you see why don't nobody want to hang out with him. Hence, Bruce was like, "Yeah, I'm good."
But yeah, nah, that was he was doing the most. He told him he kept blackmailing him to make him do his speed run real quick. He put him in a pillow fort at 18 years old.
I'm not gonna lie.
That was cool.
I mean, I used to make those with my siblings. They were a lot of fun. Now, would I want somebody to put me in a pillow fort today? I wouldn't say no. I got a whole house and it's just like, Jazz, just go make a pillow fort yourself. But it's not as fun if it's just you by yourself.
Oh no, it's definitely not. You walk in on you in a pillow fort, nobody in the house with you. There's probably gonna be some problems.
And you ain't got no snacks. That's crazy.
Snack? What's wrong with you? Nigga said snacks in the pillow. Boy, hold on.
But and then while he's actually building the fort and then he took it down, I don't know if you saw this. I saw this on my rewatch. So young Barry had the monkey as on the dartboard.
Mm-hmm.
And so then once Flash took the pillows, when you saw the next shot of Barry, older Barry sitting up, he had the dartboard in his background and the bear was no longer up there. So he took the bear, he took it during that moment because of course we get a reference later in the film. So I saw that on my rewatch. I was just like, oh, okay. I like how y'all made sure that was in the shot. But and of course, this is the day where young Barry gets his powers. But he also had a date with Iris.
That's a tough situation. Powers, a date with who you may marry in the future.
What you picking?
What you Speed? Fuck that date.
Man, I don't know. I ain't gonna lie to you. Dating pool trash as hell out here. So if it's just like, ooh, if it was Trevante, I'm going
at 18. At 18, Jazz.
I gotta see how Trevante looked at 18, but he probably still looked fine as hell. So fuck them powers. Do you see how much stuff he had to deal with being a superhero? Nah. It don't seem like being a hero is that lit.
I mean, you ain't gotta be a hero, you just had a speed.
I mean, you mean to tell me if you got powers, you wouldn't want to try to save people? Oh shit.
We're kind of fucked up out here right now. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
That's because we don't have heroes, Jason.
Oh, you want me to be the only one out here, huh?
Look. I don't know, man.
Hey, it'll be lit. I guess it'll be lit. I don't know.
Nigga walking around here like he what's dude name from The Boys? The crazy one.
Oh, Butcher?
No, Butcher is not the crazy one from The Boys.
Oh, Homelander?
Yes. Be out here like Homelander. If you're the only metahuman.
Messing people up. So he takes them to the what is I think it's whatever the crime lab is that he was working in to recreate the situation. And he phases. I love how they show this scene of him phase and just showing how his molecules move very fast in between solid ones. Which you can say that was real nerdy with this movie. So I don't know if people took an appreciation for that, but I definitely enjoyed it. He takes him up into the room and he tries to recreate the same exact scene for when he gained his speed. But of course, we find out, although it does give young Barry powers, it removes the powers out of old Barry, which I wonder if that has something to do with it. Because I know on the previous show, like when he runs back into the past, he begins to lose his powers because he saved his mom. And I feel like that's what happens in Flashpoint, right? He loses his powers once he runs back in the past.
He did, yeah. He lost them. But I thought it was weird. So if he lost his powers, how was he able to recover from getting struck by lightning? Because we saw young Barry heal from those lightning wounds.
Mm-hmm.
But older Barry, I'm like, what was it like? All right, this your last round. We're gonna heal you this time, but after this, your powers are gone. After he got electrocuted, because it went through him, and he lost a tooth. So I'm like,
I can see. I mean, so they. I mean, there wasn't really an explainer in that, but I can see that actually. Him going into him being powerful up until he got electrocuted, and then once it actually happened, like they're just taking that speed force, taking that power out of him, like removing that at their life. Because I can't. I'm trying to think of another movie or show like that where somebody was like trying to debate if they wanted to give up their powers, and they had them up until whatever they did, and then once that happened, they no longer had them. So
that
maybe so.
sounds oddly specific.
I feel
It
like it's one of
sounds
them X-Men
familiar.
movies. It's like one of them X-Men movies, like when they started deciding if they were going to be a human or not. Like they were trying to turn them.
Yeah, I remember Rogue took some of that medicine, but she got her powers back though. But after that, she ain't had no movies no more. So I'm like, bring Rogue back. Rogue was a good character.
So they got this thing. They go back down. Barry trying to phase through a wall. He just runs into it while holding Barry in his arms. Then he tries to take off running. He does this goofy looking run.
My theater was laughing so hard. And the girl beside me, oh my God, you thought she was dying.
I enjoyed that though.
You know how you see something that's funny, but then the person that also sees it beside you thinks it's 10 times as funny, so their laugh overshadows yours, and you sit there like, damn, you took my laugh away.
You ain't have a laugh off? Shit, I was having a laugh off in that bitch.
No, Jason, I did not have a laugh off. Nigga, what? It was too
Yeah.
many people in that theater, and we were like sitting like, nah.
That's the best time to watch them. That's the best way to watch them. Crowd full of people laughing, joking, the camaraderie, the cheering for different moments and scenes. Yeah. That's how you're supposed to watch a movie.
Yeah.
So they once he figure out that he has the powers, Barry decides to go on a tour of the world real quick. Which he tries to go run and get pizza. Was that Jamie Lannister?
I thought the same thing. I said, is that Jamie? I thought the same thing. Nikolai or Jamie. I think that was Jamie.
Yeah, so he grabs his pizza. But then he causes a big wreck at the same exact time. He sets himself on fire because of course he's going faster than the speed of light. And then he causes a power outage throughout the entire town. Chaotic Barry, of course. Chaotic Barry.
I mean, an 18-year-old that has new powers, would you expect anything else?
No, that's exactly what I expect.
Because, I mean, I guess if I got those kind of powers, I probably would have done the same thing.
I mean, you definitely you're gonna get out there and try to do some stuff. And then Barry kind of gives him a quick crash course on how the Speed Force works. Told him, when you're running at that speed, you can't move people. You can move them very small, but when you start doing it, you could really mess them up. You definitely can't move a baby moving at that speed. You can move stuff around like a microwave, which I feel like this was him explaining to the crowd, because I'm pretty sure people watching like, how can he do this, but he can't do different things? So him explaining, hey, this is why I'm doing this, or this is how I can do these different things.
That makes sense, and plus it's referenced later.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and he tells him to, you can do phasing. It's just you just have to feel your molecules, and of course, every time he begins to speak, Barry does it. As soon as he says it, boom, he disappears, goes into the neighbor's floor. It's funny he didn't get stuck in between, as opposed to actually going all the way through, which at the end, we know he really can't phase. So he can do certain things, but to a certain extent, I think he couldn't do everything that Barry. But like he told him though, he said it's gonna take years of you mastering these skills before you do that. So it's well, it was like a 10-year gap in between when Barry got his powers to when we see Barry again. So 10 years of being a speedster, he's figured out a whole bunch of shit.
Yeah, that makes sense. And plus, it wouldn't have felt as like, I guess, organic or authentic if he was able to grasp everything in a matter of days.
Yeah. So it was one of them situations where you could see him. He can get a hold of it, but I also feel like Barry is a great teacher, as well. Because I think historically he's a great teacher. He's not Bruce Wayne of teachers when it comes to having people up under his tutelage.
I mean, all right.
What you gotta say? What you say?
I got nothing. I got nothing.
What you gonna say? I mean,
I got nothing right now, but later for sure. For sure.
So he tells them, because you're running at the speed you're running, you need to at least wear this outfit, so we can actually move. He puts it on. He said it's tight, but in the dick area. Some of the jokes I was like, man, they definitely stepping it up with some of this stuff.
Yeah, and I will say, like, I don't know if they dropped the F-bomb in previous DC movies, but they definitely dropped it in this. And it's crazy how Marvel
Suicide Squad.
All right, outside of them. Yeah, no, I don't want to count them.
Zack Snyder's cut, because it's rated R, the villains were cussing, but not the heroes.
Okay. Because of course, like with Guardians, they made a big deal about Star-Lord dropping the F-bomb, which was a terrible point. But in this movie, it was perfect.
That's what I said.
It was perfect. That is how you drop an F-bomb. Look at this.
If you're going to use one, if you're going to have one.
Yeah.
There we go. Do it this way. Let me see. And he said he need to get Back to the Future. And he was like, oh yeah, Eric Stoltz, he killed that movie. And he was just like, no. But he didn't know why they kept saying that, because it kept getting referenced a few times.
Yes. I wonder.
Go ahead.
I wonder if that's anyone's favorite movie, Back to the Future, because it was funny because
it's an amazing movie.
It is an amazing movie, and it's one of the top trilogies ever made. Ever. But also it was referenced in Endgame, Marvel, MCU, when they were trying to figure out how to time travel. And so with it also being referenced here, even though different universe, so you ain't got Michael J. Fox, which the whole movie scene of like naming actors with their like significant roles in movies, I thought was dope. It was a bunch of white classics, but if they would have said like, oh, why is Cuba Gooding Jr. not in Boys in the Hood, I'd have been like, wait a minute, niggas, like, what y'all talking about? So
yeah, and I don't think they would have. They wouldn't get that deep into it. It would have been dope if they did, but I don't think they would have.
Not with this cast.
Nah, not with this. Nah.
I would have been like, wait a minute, all right, y'all pandering, nasty right now.
But we find out, Zod is back. We just see the commotion of the people, and Barry, they go into the coffee shop and they see, Zod and them are ready for the attack. So again, it's 10 years ago. Man of Steel came out 2013. Perfectly lined up with, when that movie came out. So I love that was a very dope callback. A lot of and I feel like this movie did a lot of subtle callbacks to different moments that actually made a lot of sense. Because in some movies, just like, it didn't even why'd they even put that in there? It didn't make sense to the story, it didn't make sense to the plot, but that actually did. But then Barry, that's when he says he gotta get on his Batman shit. He gotta put together the Justice League. And we find out there is no Justice League. there is no Cyborg is in school, but he's just in school right now. There is no Wonder Woman. He doesn't know if there's a Wonder Woman or if there is or not, because he couldn't find it when he's trying to look her up. There is no Arthur. He called out to his dad. He was talking to him about how to create, or not how to create, but if he had a son. Like, what? How would that call even? How would that even go? Why would you call somebody and be like, "Hey, you got a son"?
Or is your wife a queen or a princess of Atlantis? And he looks and it's just like, not this big bitch on the couch. So,
I feel like it was a callback to Justice League though, because this is when Batman, he was out trying to get them together, and he just came into Barry just like. He didn't know what Barry did, so Bruce really fucked up. He threw his batarang at his head, just like so. Like, how would you know he was gonna move out the way? Because it would have been that should be in a movie where he does it and he kills the person. Because like, how would you know what this person gonna do?
Them making Batman kill somebody on accident? Oh, they not
Michael
doing
Keaton
that.
killed a whole bunch of people in that first two movies.
That was Tim Burton. And Tim Burton has a really dark vision of life. So that's probably why they said we can't call Burton back. Man. But DC is dope because it's dark. Mm-hmm. Like, I love that they go past the whole positive hero, all that shit. Like, DC touching in on the darkness, which I hope that's what James Gunn brings to it. Because I would love for it to get back to that. Kill a bunch of people. Blow them motherfuckers up.
I think that's what he said. They asked him what was his favorite, what was the differences between DC and Marvel and what he liked. And he said, I mean, they're pretty much the same thing. The main difference for him is the universes. He said you're able to story build, which he brought up Westeros. He said it was when you come into DC, it's just like you can say or do whatever you want to with the story. And he said that was one of the biggest things that he enjoys. He said he actually was offered a Superman movie years ago, but he turned it down because he didn't know what story mattered in that. He wasn't just going to take a story just because he had it. He wanted to make sure it was the right thing, make sure it was special and it stood out, but still true to the character. So it'll be interesting. He said his script is done. Now he's picking out his people, but he can't say what's true and what's not true out there in the world right now. So, excuse me. So I went through. So I did want to actually research the movie part because this is when we go through this scene and we're having the scene. He talking to all different people and he kept on saying "Back to the Future." He said Eric Stoltz. Eric Stoltz was actually cast as Marty McFly. Excuse me.
Was he the one? Because I remember there's a documentary on Netflix that talks about Back to the Future and the rise of it and how it was created. I'm trying to think. Actually, what did you find in your research?
So Michael J. Fox was always the person for the role. But he was on a TV show at the time.
Yes.
And the TV show is what kept him from being in it originally. I can't think of what it was. All in the Family, I believe. Was All in the Family? One of them TV shows he was on, but Eric Stoltz was on there. So there's footage of Eric Stoltz doing it, but they say he just didn't have he didn't have what they needed. They fired him. R.I.P. No, I'm saying. I'm just saying they fired him. In Footloose, they said that one there was just something they did in the movie. Michael J. Fox was never casted, never rumored or anything for Kevin Bacon role. However, Tom Cruise didn't want the part in Top Gun. So Kevin Bacon was actually considered to take over for him in Top Gun. But ultimately it went to Tom Cruise, but that's why or where they got. So some of those is real, some of those was not true, but we'll get to some more fact or fiction later when they start going into these different worlds. What you gonna say?
I was gonna add a fact that I do remember from the documentary that I watched, since they did start filming for Back to the Future with what's the gentleman's name?
Eric Stoltz.
So, but like they had some shots of the back of his head, and him and Marty had similar like body structures, I believe. Mm-hmm. So a lot of them shots, well, let me not say a lot, but a few of those shots they left in the movie.
In the first movie?
Yes. So they was just like, we're not going to reshoot. Let's just go ahead and keep that in. We're going to go ahead and send you that check. Thank you for your assistance. RIP to you.
But then the lady, she was like, he said, Barry going through the list, he said, there's no Wonder Woman, there's no Aquaman, there's no Batman. She said, I am Batman. She was like, wait, but say it again. Why do you say it like this? She was like, there's a Batman. Like, which, that was dope. We go out to Batman's home. Go out to the mansion.
Wayne Manor.
Jazz. How you feeling about this introduction to this old man whooping ass in the
No.
house?
So, all right. Because you already know I was excited to see Michael Keaton in this movie. And of course, when they dropped the trailer of it, Michael Keaton was in it. So they just like, oh, let's go ahead and show Keaton. Keaton was able to help out Morbius. So we're going to make sure he's in our trailers too, because people still love Michael Keaton as Batman. They right.
Forever.
But with him just like walking around, I'm just like, the whole house is a mess. But of course, because Alfred is dead and Bruce always depend on Alfred to clean up his shit. This exchange though, like, so the fighting part I thought was cool because you got old Barry getting his ass beat by old Bruce. And of course, young Barry just moving around like, oh, these new powers is lit. I ain't doing nothing. But like the long hair and beard, I guess it definitely symbolizes old age and him not actually being in the suit. But then he was just like, y'all want something to eat? Like, you hungry? It's like, you don't know these gentlemen. But then it's just like when obviously they explained everything to him and he's making spaghetti because nobody cooks anything outside of spaghetti in this universe. They ain't got no meat in there, no mushrooms. And Jason's like, shit, they ain't got no fish. Yeah, all right. That's not enough, Jason. But I mean, how did you feel about this breakdown of him explaining the mistakes, all of the shit that Barry kind of messed up when he went back in time to give his mother that can of tomato sauce? Because the two terms that were mentioned in this movie that I was just like, oh, I've heard of those before, was basically multiverse and divergence. And so I'm just like, I see what y'all doing. But then again, you can't just make up your own words of moving around the multiverse. So
exactly. So it's some things it has to stay consistent.
Right.
But one thing that's consistent when it comes to Bruce is he felt that was a stupid idea. No matter which one it was, they felt it was a dumb idea to do it.
I mean, I feel like anybody that you talk to about it, it's a stupid idea. Because let's think about it. Like when Barry thought about it, he was just like, okay, I think his biggest thing was, long as I don't come in contact with them, everything's fine. And it's like, no, it's more than that. You changed a major event. Nigga, you probably did more damage than you would have if she saw you walking across the street. Because then she might just be like, oh, second guess herself. But her not dying blew everything up. And then we see with him doing less than that, blew everything up. And it's just like, obviously you knew what the butterfly effect was. You probably saw the movie and you still did this shit. And we ain't got no Aquaman. Or we ain't got no Aquaman. I mean, I don't really care, but
yeah, I don't know, man. The explainer, I enjoyed it because we often think about that, and like you said, they always go back to the Future, but that was in like jazz back in the 60s. They thought we was gonna be in flying cars, like on the Jetsons. So a lot of times people
I thought that I was just waiting. But look, when Y2K dropped, I said we about to be flying, y'all.
Oh, you thought that's what you thought? I thought I was gonna be dying. It's crazy. Look at the spectrum that we was on.
Dying? What you thought?
They said the world was gonna. They thought the world was gonna end at Y2K.
They did, because they thought technology was about to be all fucked up. And here I go, soon as 12 o'clock hit, we about to just snap into futuristic life. My car is gonna be flying. I'm gonna be up in the air. I was excited. When 12 o'clock hit, Jason, I'm looking around like this is still the same shit that it was a minute ago.
Only 12 o'clocks that mattered back when you was growing up was Christmas. Like you wake up the next morning for Christmas, you was like, damn, this house look different. But after that, it was like, yeah, that feeling wore off.
And the birthday, when your birthday hit.
Birthdays, the party was here. Your birthday, it was just like kind of, you got like a day dedicated to you, but the party wouldn't matter when that actually mattered for me anyway. So him, like I said, him explaining that, going through like using the spaghettis the way he did, it definitely made a lot of sense. And then he said he put all the spaghetti in a bowl. He said, yeah. So once you start messing with the universe, now you have a multiverse. And he, puts everything on the bowl and he throws the sauce on it. And he put the spoon in Barry's mouth, just unsolicited. He didn't speak nothing. I'm just like, man, hold on. He ain't slap it away, nothing.
I was about to say so.
You're sick. You're sick.
When Bay talking, I stick my foot up with his mouth. No, it was a joke. But I do want to add though, who you think had a better explanation of time travel? Michael Keaton, or who was it
RDJ. in Endgame?
Endgame. Who was it in Endgame that explained
RDJ.
it?
I think it was Iron Man who was explaining it's not. He was saying the way it's not this way. I think Michael Keaton made more sense to me because because I still don't understand when somebody can go back in because with them they can go back in the future, change stuff, and it doesn't affect anything in the future. But it doesn't work like it. It shouldn't work like that. Things should change.
What you mean?
So they went back in. So they went back into the past, and not one thing changed.
So it's because they went back before that change for it to affect anything. That's what they did in Endgame. So he went right back before anything got messed up. So if I take something,
because he traveled twice.
Yeah, Cap.
I'm forgetting about the second travel, which they need a movie about that. But okay,
or at least a short or something. Just put that nigga in a suit and just drop shit off. Like it's a 30-minute short.
A book, something, anything. Like you're right. Because he went back to the same exact time to do it again. Gotcha.
Because when he went back, then that future that was created with the stone missing, I guess no longer existed, because once he went back and put the stone back, then it kind of got back on track.
And I guess with them, they had a more precise way to do it. I don't feel like it. It was more. They have a more scientific way in doing it. And here, it's whatever Barry does. However Barry gets there, that's the way they get there, and that's gonna be the alternative one. But of course, just like the inverse of the previous time, where Bruce going around and getting Barry a quick yes, Bruce gave them a quick no, and they had to leave. Which they snuck into the Batcave, which I don't know why they haven't figured out the security on the Batcave after all these years.
You know why? There is no security.
Why not?
Talking about they broke in. They ain't sneaking shit. He knew they were there. He saw them on the camera. That's why when I was watching it, I was just like, he was just like, well, if he's not going to help, we could just use his bat stuff. And I'm just like, the real Bruce would not let you just use his stuff while he's chilling at the crib. But I'm just like, we're in a different universe.
At 70 years old?
You said, what?
At 70 years old?
Did you watch Batman Beyond? That Bruce was still beating people ass with his stick and his dog. So don't sell that man short. That's all I'm saying. Because really, I think Michael Keaton was supposed to be the Bruce in the Batman Beyond.
It was there was a rumor. Nobody nothing was confirmed. So hopefully we can still get. But I'm not mad at George Clooney doing it. I'm sorry. I'm still gonna say it. I'm not mad at George Clooney. George Clooney
doing what?
He could be Batman, the old Batman.
Nah.
He just looked good. He looked good for his age.
He does.
I mean, but they think there's Keaton is 71, Clooney is 61. What's the other guy name? The first one.
Wait,
in this movie.
Oh, Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck is 51. So they have, they're 10 years different on each one of them. So yeah, I mean, I do think Keaton. I don't know, man. It's just I don't know. We'll see. I feel like Keaton. He over the hump.
Nah, look, Keaton out here dipping his drink in Marvel and in DC.
Yeah. It's been a few years since Marvel.
No, it hasn't. It was like last year.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, we're just gonna act like that movie didn't exist. Doesn't exist.
It doesn't in my life. What about you?
It does in mine for when I say I don't trust Sony live action films because I saw that shit.
What about Craven? How you feeling about that?
I'm excited, but I'm also scared.
I feel you. I understand.
It's just it's that trust issue. I mean, but Sony does great with live action Spider-Man movies.
Morbius is a live action Spider-Man movie. What you mean?
No, I meant Spider-Man.
Just Spider-Man
Him.
alone.
Yes. His villains? Nah, it's
I talk, and I'm telling you, he has great villains, but I don't know. It's just I don't
I
don't
think
know.
it's the script. It has to be the script because the thing is, you have a good cast. I think Leto was good for that role, and I think Hardy is good for Venom. Your script just isn't, and their story isn't that good. And I know a lot of people are just like Spider-Man villains shouldn't have their own movies and all this other stuff, and I'm like, I just,
so I feel as if you're going to do it, Spider-Man should be in the movie. It's to some capacity. Like it's not like a situation where you, because I mean,
do
go
you
ahead.
think Venom Part 2 would have been good with Spider-Man in that?
I think Venom Part 2 would have been
With
good with
Carnage?
Spider-Man.
Like
For sure. I mean, yeah, for sure. Like, so with that movie, I didn't hate it. It was super slow. But that the final act is great. I really enjoyed the final act in that movie.
the final act is like what, 20 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
The movie's an hour and a half to an hour and 45 minutes.
It's like an hour. It's not even that long. Honestly, the
It's-
movie not that long. It's just, but it feels slow.
Too fucking long for the only 20 minutes to be good. That is like no. But that's just me.
Let's see, and let there be carnage. Hour 37.
Yeah, so that means an hour and 16 or 17 was trash. When you yeah, think about that for a second.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
they're in the Batcave. How did you feel about them entering the Batcave? And then obviously Bruce has not been doing any kind of fighting because Gotham is now one of the safest cities in the world. Who would have thought?
Nobody.
Exactly.
It was nice to see the Batcave. It was nice to see the Batcave because I mean, exact replica from how it was in Batman and Batman Returns. Minus Alfred, which of course, Alfred, he probably been tapped out years ago. He was tapping out on Batman and Robin, but he didn't. He survived some kind of way.
Mr. Freeze's antidote. That's how.
I'm just saying he survived. He should have.
Nope. We're not taking nobody important out of any movies in the 90s and early 2000s.
Why? It's Alfred. Eventually he has to go. You know this. But I guess this is where we have the falling out between the berries. They have this conversation. Well, Barry is running around going crazy, having a good time, almost kills himself, while Barry is trying to figure out, what their next plan of action is going to be. And he kind of goes off on him, calls him, he kind of tells him he should be grateful. And this we kind of bring up the monkey scene. He brings up the monkey. He said you just use it on your dartboard. And this is when I guess he kind of figures out, why he's the way he is. Young Barry also figures out the way he is. How do you think about this scene where they come to realization of who Barry is?
It just seems like it was, like you said, like maybe like a coming to Jesus moment of sometimes you don't realize the things that you do or the kind of person you are until you take a look in the mirror. And hypothetically, he was kind of doing that in this scene, except not just a mimic of who he was, but of who he was earlier years. And then also young Barry saying who he's going to be in a certain way. So I thought the dynamic was cool. And it just like that realization came to him. And then once they had that realization, they were able to come to a resolution of like, okay, I apologize. And then he was just like, I'm gonna let you get back to work. And he was like, young Barry was trying to figure out like, why are you lashing out at me? Because I've been doing everything that you've been asking. And so it's just, it was like a younger brother, older brother type of relationship, even though it's himself. But I mean, I thought it was a cool scene. I didn't have any issues with it, but then I was just like, damn, you've been carrying that monkey around like this whole time. You stealing shit from homeboy house?
I
But
mean, it was very sentimental for him.
I get that. I get that because their mom gave that to him. And of
Mm.
course, of him not telling Barry the reason why he's there. So I guess, would it have been that much of a major impact if he said, I just came back to try to save mom because in my timeline, she was killed when we were 7 or 8, to where that event passed him in a way because he was 18, to where it was no longer, I guess, a threat in his life. Does that make sense?
It does, but I mean, he technically he wasn't even supposed to be hanging out with him.
He
So,
shouldn't have.
so at any point, once they began conversing with each other, a problem was the issue had already began. Whenever he stopped him to speak with him, the issue had already started. He should have left. He was trying to live that. I would have left, ran back out of there. Even though he got pushed into the universe, but I would have left at that point. Like once you seen her, you seen yourself outside, I would have left and just never turned around. That would have just been the end of that. I would have got my enjoyment of that situation. I would have just went back to my timeline.
Yeah. But I mean, I
He
guess
got
like
greedy.
he did. And then he started realizing like this has expanded into something that it shouldn't have been. But he
Mm-hmm.
also thought he was on his timeline. Because
No, he
until he,
didn't.
well, no, he thought he was on his timeline before he saw young Barry.
Okay, got you.
Because
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
why he
yeah.
was like, what year is it? And he was like, how old are you? He was like, I'm 18. And he was just like, oh shit, okay. We are not supposed to be in the same space. But then he lost his powers. Because
Yeah.
I think he was definitely gonna bounce until he was just like, okay, you're supposed to get your powers tonight. Don't go on that date. But realistically, since this was a totally different timeline, if he would have just left, would that have even affected him?
Yeah, we
I
don't
don't.
know. And
I
see
feel
with
like
it
it
with
shouldn't
this
have, because
with
that's
this
a different
universe.
future.
But
Because
remember, if you change the past, it changes your future.
but it creates a new future.
So if he didn't give him powers, what happens?
But how would that timeline have affected him if he was the Barry of a past where his mother died, and this is a Barry that lived through that event? Does that make sense?
So young Barry, if young Barry did, because I mean him going back, he kept the mama alive.
Right.
So
So
him keeping her alive and then him going to the if he went back to his future, there probably wouldn't be one, right? Because Zod would have controlled the world.
it wouldn't have
Oh,
been that future. So it would have, like, if older Barry would have left after meeting young Barry and not even tried to say you need to get your powers, even if he didn't get his powers, he would have went out on his date. That timeline would have gotten destroyed anyway. Even like powers or no powers, it would have got
it would have,
destroyed.
but then I think if he would have went back to his new future, because he would have had a mom for 10 more years, longer than what he was supposed to. All of them have died, but shit, Barry probably would have died though. He still would have died, right? Because if Zod destroys the world, he probably would have still died.
Yeah.
Well, I guess Zod wasn't trying to destroy the world. He was trying to, just trying to get whatever he needed from Kara.
Right. Which they, I mean, they were terraforming to where they would have just destroyed them anyway.
Oh yeah, so they would have died anyway. So he probably would have died.
He wouldn't have become a metahuman. Because instead of going to get his powers, he would have went out on a date. Because technically it wasn't no metahumans anyway. So I'm curious what his future would have looked like if he didn't get pushed into that timeline of 18-year-old Barry.
Yeah, that would have been, it would have been different.
Right.
Typically, I mean, like I said, there's versions of him losing his powers once he comes back. He just don't have the power anymore. He had his mom, but then of course we see what happens with the Atlanteans and the Themyscirians.
That's like, probably what it would have been. It would have been what the timeline was in the Flash Paradox. I didn't think about that. Oh shit.
So yeah, I don't know. It's a lot of fucked up realities in that. So but he should have just left them.
If that's the case, that means Bruce was still
that situation. Right. A lot of different situations. You never know what get changed. Like I said, sometimes it could be so close to each other, but then just those one-off things within there. So they fall asleep. You know, Barry is speaking to Bruce during the entire time, you know, asking him, still asking for help to a certain extent. And then he wakes up with some confidential papers in front of him. And this is when we find out that the ship made it to the US, but it made it somewhere on Earth, but it landed in a different place. So it was interesting to see, because, you know, there is the what if scenarios, like what if the ship landed in Russia? It's like there's a Russian Superman. There's a story that they do. So it was interesting they didn't go that route. And they went with the Kara route instead. So I'm kind of moving a little bit fast. How did you feel about Kara character in this?
I enjoyed her character, but we didn't get a lot of her character.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wouldn't have been mad if we got more of her, but I understand this movie was loaded with a lot of things. Mm-hmm. So somebody gonna get cut. And it was Kara. So
unfortunately.
Yeah. But I mean, I like her character got a lot of rave reviews. A lot of people liked her character, but she wasn't really in it that much. So what was there to hate? Unless you just hate women. But there's those out there as well. But especially ones that like strong women leads. But with that kind of like, I enjoyed her character. I thought it was funny when they broke into her I guess her prison. Michael Keaton was like, that don't look like Clark. All right, let's roll. I'm like, wait a minute. Like, you just gonna leave her here?
It's not the mission.
He was like, look, we gotta go. That's one less body we gotta carry. But Barry was like, let me go ahead and scoop her, which helped them out. And, you know, with them going through trying to get away from the Russian soldiers, and then young Barry not thinking they're able to get shot. He was like, I didn't know we could get shot. He was like, why would you assume we couldn't? But it's just like, it lets you know, if you're not up on your game or your speed, you're going to catch a bullet. But, of course, Flash is able to heal. But this scene where they're on the roof was, of course, one of the scene and clips that they released prior to the movie releasing. Like, how did you feel about this? Because you got the fighting scene, and then you see more of Kara and what she's bringing to the team, and like the different visuals of her fighting. How did you feel about that?
So after this one, let's go into Bruce, his fight scene, because that was a big one as well. But I know she said that this scene was actually a lot longer, a lot gorier than what they actually showed, which it has to make sense. It's her against just regular people. And she just went ape shit on them. She kicking these people across the mountains, punching them across the world. It was just going crazy. But I enjoyed, like I said, it was the scene they had on the in the trailer. So it was dope to actually see it in full. And she definitely was up in there. She was moving around. I definitely enjoyed her character.
Yeah. I kind of wish they didn't show that to us in the trailer. I think I would have enjoyed just seeing that, and then her going crazy when Michael Keaton had his hands up, and he was just like, what we about to do? Stay alive, I guess, my nigga. I don't know. And you see her in the air, and it reminded me of the like dark version of Superman, the movie Brightburn, when she was up in the air. I don't know if you've seen that.
I haven't. I've been meaning to sit down and watch that.
It was pretty cool from what I remember.
From what you remember.
Yeah. So
that's how I ended up watching the movie with the girl with the twin, because I thought that was that, but it wasn't.
With the twin.
Damn. Malignant.
Oh,
I thought that was that. And that's how I ended up watching. I'm like, no, I don't think this is that at all.
Nah, because when you watch Brightburn, you're gonna be like, oh hell no. Completely two different type of movies. But no, but to go back to Michael Keaton's fight scene, I enjoyed this. I really did. Especially with it being like right after when young Barry was trying to save old Barry, moving him around, causing him to throw up. What the fuck did he eat that day? Because that was green slime that reminded me of Nickelodeon's Guts series. I'm like, what was you eating? A smoothie? Like,
I mean, he almost eat anything.
He might have got that check. Cause
but considering he moved him when he told him not to at hyperspeed, I'm like, why move the bullets, Barry? Go take the guns, Barry. It's a whole bunch of shit Barry could have did, but I guess he was like, nah, these bullets coming too fast. Let me just move this.
It's his first mission. He can't get it right on his first mission. You're gonna think, who do I move first? Let me just move his head to the left. So I mean, I get it, but I was saying the same thing. I'm like, so this is your only solution? Because you definitely could have took another route. But yes, how did you feel about Michael Keaton's fight scene? Did he go up the list of dope Batmans list for you?
The list of dope Batmans?
Of your favorite. Excuse me. Did he go up the list as a favorite?
I mean, he's already a favorite, so I mean, he can't go. He's not moving. I mean, he didn't move nowhere because of this. I mean, I enjoyed seeing him in like legend status at this point doing it. So I enjoy. I was curious at how much he did in those scenes, because I was like, yeah, is that him, or is it just like he put the suit on and then somebody pop in, you know? What? I'm just curious.
Ain't no way you think that about all the fucking Batmans. You just be sitting here like, did Twilight fight or was somebody else?
I know Twilight was fighting.
All right.
In every scene, no, but a lot of them, yeah. Like the scene when he was like the scene at the end when they shoot. He's in that long hallway and they shoot him. Like that's him.
You want to be Daredevil so bad.
So don't do that. You know, Batman came first. Batman, one of the first heroes ever. Ever. But yeah, this is like, so when Michael Keaton gets them in this room and he puts them on a little platform, he was like, how much you think she weigh? Like, that's one of the things he asked. He asked Vicky Vale. He was like, how much you weigh? She was like 108. And he puts on the things, he calculates it, and he's like, you weigh way more than 108 pounds.
For real?
So yeah, that was a deep joke from the original, from Batman.
That's what I'm talking about. Get those callbacks. Yes, because nobody else caught that. That's what's up.
They said that. It was like, unless you like really watch these movies, you know some of these jokes they like just dated. I'm like, I mean, I think it's it's intended for the person it's intended for.
I think so. Yeah. And I feel like the more that you watch these movies, especially if they are remakes, fake remakes, prequels, sequels.
Fake remake. What's the fake remake, Jazz?
A fake remake is White Man Can't Jump, because that should not have been a remake. That should have been its own entity with additional things. But those callbacks and those references, it makes you definitely appreciate it. And it makes you want to go back and watch the film that could possibly reference it.
In this next scene, so when I initially watched the movie, I didn't know how Barry figured it out. I was like, oh, so Barry, he's not as slow as he's portraying himself. He actually is smart. He just moves at his own pace. He moves at his own pace. But it comes to find out he's eavesdropping in the conversation. He overhears them talk about why Barry is fighting to stay, or fighting for this timeline so hard. Which he finds out. Well, he asks him, does he know that your mom passed away? He's like, nah, he doesn't. I'm trying to keep him from finding out. He's like, well, let's dose you in some chemicals. Let's go.
Surprise. Definitely before this scene though, you had them. Car is at the house and they take her to the roof and she got her powers and her suit. And she just like, nah, fuck y'all humans, because y'all locked me up when I got here. And then that was when young Barry was like, I mean, some humans are dicks. I wish he would have said trash, because then I'd have been like, look at you trying to be Jazz. But then she goes to where Zod is and she sees him killing all these people because he's already at Earth. And then he's just like slashing people's throats. And so she was just like, yeah, he was wild. But I mean, what are you talking for? Like, if I'm going to a planet to invade it, I'm not talking to anybody. I'm just taking that shit.
I mean, but you knew he was there for, right?
He was looking for he wasn't looking for Kal-El in the first movies. He was looking for Kal-El. He was trying to get some blood, but he was trying to get Kara's blood so he can go ahead and make him a new planet. But
because he had already killed Clark.
Yeah, baby Clark. I love that reveal. I'm not gonna lie. But how did you feel about her rolling up after they are trying to help Olderberry get his powers back? I know her script had to be like maybe 4 fucking pages. She didn't say much in this movie at all. And she just rolls up, flies in, she sees Barry half dead after getting burnt the fuck up. She's like, all right, let me go ahead and take him to the sky. Because y'all power.
Let me finish this nigga off.
Right. So, I mean, how'd you feel about this scene? Like this entire exchange?
I wasn't mad at it. I mean, her being as strong as she is, being able to go get some real lightning. I'm not mad at that. Like that's what he needed for to go through. I guess whatever the concoction was still in him, or maybe it was like I look at it like a battery. Like if you need a battery that won't start, they needed to kickstart it, which need a very strong power source. So instead of jumper cables, we need some God in your life. So yeah, they had to strike him. Had to go and strike him down, get him back to where to rare form.
Yeah, he got burned up.
Yeah, she ain't no nothing to her. She just came back down, sat him down like it was nothing.
Yeah, I was like, all right, because that was definitely similar to the movie. Not
what
her.
Happened? I'm sorry. So what happened? Because I feel like he was in the chair. He got shot. But they had to redo it though. It was just him and Batman, right?
It was just him and Batman. They definitely had to redo it. And then the second time around, they finally got it. And then Batman Thomas Wayne was about to die. And then he got his powers and he saved his life. So she wasn't at the manor with them.
Because she left. I mean, because Superman dipped. When he got the sun, he just dipped on their ass. In that story, they freed him. He got some sun. He killed somebody and he just disappeared.
I mean, I get it. What fuck you staying around for?
Hey. But, so they got Batman. Now he's down. He's down for the fight.
He said, you want to get nuts? How did you feel about some of these lines in this movie?
I feel like a lot of those they go back to the 90s, 80s, and them earlier movies. Like that's a lot of that cheese that I be talking about. Like,
I don't remember. Nah, Tim Burton ain't have no "You Want to Get Nuts" in his.
Go back and watch it.
Which movie did you see it? Did you hear it during your rewatch? I feel like
it had to be the first.
Because I feel like it was Lego Batman, but I wasn't sure.
I feel like it was in the. I feel like it was the original because that's the one with Joker in there. I don't feel like the second one. He was saying some wild shit too, but I know Michael Keaton. Well, that was the second he told him to cut a lot of his dialogue out because it's not Batman. Like, don't give me all these words.
That's what Michael Keaton said.
Yeah. I sent you the thing. I sent you the. I don't know if you read it all, but I read all of it. And he said he asked them to cut his dialogue down. It was like, okay, that does make sense. Like Batman shouldn't be talking as much, which people get mad at Robert Pattinson for not talking. But shit, that's what it was meant. That's what it was meant for.
I'm just mad the movie was dark as fuck.
It's supposed to be.
It's not. It's not.
It is. That's why. See. We get so like Batman. When is it not? When Batman not dark?
Jason.
Batman and Robin.
Jason. I can't see nothing in this movie except an explosion.
I've seen everything.
Okay.
Without glasses.
Look, for anybody listening or watching, please tell this man how dark the Batman was since he saw everything.
Okay, so yeah, it was I knew it was the Joker. So the scene was Batman was in the house with Vicky Vale and Joker pulled up. And he was like, "You want to get crazy?" I
Oh,
can get nuts. I told you,
yeah.
cheese, Jazz. Fuck out of here.
But wait. All right. He was doing it as a diversion.
I don't care what he was doing it. He did it. He said it.
All right. He did. I remember that scene because right before he said that, and then Joker was like, "Nah, shoot this motherfucker," and then he got shot. So, all right.
He was like, "Nah, I ain't fucking with this nigga."
Right.
So yeah, man, they get out here to the battlefield. We get out to the battlefield. You kind of give Barry a quick crash course on what's going to happen. Barry is just soaking it all in. He got his first war about to happen. He's filming Kara flying past the bat plane. He's filming the bat plane. We're like, he gotta die because he got too much information on him.
What you mean?
At this point, I know Barry has to die. He's doing too much. He's in a plane filming. He's filming
mean to tell
Batman.
me you wouldn't film none of that? Oh, I would have filmed all of that shit. I would have went on live. Fuck around. What? Yo, I definitely would have.
And that's another thing. And that's another difference between DC and Marvel. They said Marvel didn't have a true superhero until Spider-Man was created. Because everybody else just they just lived that life. Like they was out. Like Tony Stark was Iron Man. Everybody knew who these people were when they were just out and about. So that was another thing they said. And here they had a lot more to keep and to honor on the DC side of things.
Except for Wonder Woman.
I mean, she's 5,000 years. She's 5,000 years old.
Age ain't not but a number. Why does that even matter?
You know what I'm saying? Who's gonna know her? She gonna outlive him anyway.
I mean, it's just one of those things. So is Clark Kent, but this nigga felt like I need to get a job.
Okay, look, Will, look now. All of them got jobs.
What's Bruce's job?
Come on now.
Oh, he runs. Excuse me.
He runs. He runs
to go work out. That nigga don't be doing nothing with
He be doing science.
Wayne
he be doing like science and everything.
Nah, that's Lucius.
He be helping Lucius.
Sign the check. That's it.
So you telling me Batman? You telling me Bruce don't be doing no work? He just be out here just he don't do shit. Chilling.
I don't think he does that much for like the company itself. That nigga be over here like trying to fight crime. He put all his resources for his activities to try to fight crime.
If you had the money, the money and the means to do it, wouldn't you?
I'm not fighting nobody's crime.
I'm saying you talking about Clark ain't getting no shit. Clark mama lost her house in the last movie. Like, little nigga need to keep a job.
Where her job at? Her damn retirement ain't paying that.
Clearly not. She lost it. The husband died. She lost her house.
One of the most powerful people on the earth. And
what that mean? He just powerful. He don't get paid to be powerful.
Jason, what? You mean to tell me if you had Spider-Man's powers, nigga, you gonna let your mama lose her fucking house?
That nigga broke. He the brokest of all of them.
That motherfucker playing the game wrong, man. Because you like
what you would be doing? So you'd be a villain, you'd be robbing people?
Who the fuck about to be struggling if I'm one of the most powerful people on the earth? Make that shit make sense. I'm about to steal somebody's condo, steal somebody's boat. I ain't about to be. That doesn't make any sense. No. Call it what the fuck you want to. You can call it a villain, an antagonist, nigga. I'm not struggling when I'm one of the most powerful people on the earth. Jazz is not doing that.
Even Wonder Woman, she got a damn job.
Where she work at?
She work at an art museum.
She got money. She just doing that shit just for a cover.
I mean, of course, but I'm saying she still got a job. Now,
doing that for a cover.
Now, Cyborg, now he was doing it. What you talking about? He was going around. His dad told him he shouldn't be doing that, but he was like going around finding people that couldn't, and he was giving them money.
What you mean?
Like people that couldn't do for themselves. Like this lady had got evicted.
Where was he getting the money from?
Shit, out the bank.
That's
he just was. I told you he would just move. He would move money from one bank to her account.
That's the energy I like.
Like I said, Cyborg, he was doing what you talking about. I'm not mad at it.
There we go. That's us. That's us.
But yeah, man, they get out here to this field. He tell Barry just focus on we just gonna knock these people out. We can't kill them. They, they from Krypton. We just try to knock them out. What you got?
I'll be mad as hell if I'm about to go out there. We outnumbered, and I can't kill none of them. Only can knock them out. You know how quickly I would have left that timeline. I'd be like, all right, this shit's scrap. Let me scoop my mama and let's go somewhere else.
You can't grab her like that though.
You right. What if she get a suit?
I don't know if it's the suit or if it's the moving of the person.
I feel like if you got a suit, you should be good. So I'd be like, Bruce, go ahead and make a suit before this timeline gets destroyed. Put my mama in that suit and we gonna leave. Y'all have a good one. And just leave.
You gonna leave your dad?
Bruce, make 2 suits so these niggas can come with me. Hell, make 3 so you can come too. But this timeline is dead.
I'm gonna sit y'all on this. I'm just gonna push y'all through.
Let's just make a ship.
Man. And I feel like it was a callback to them saying the original Batman suits didn't fit well. Because Barry, he got the suit on. He rigged his own suit based on the Batman suit. He turned his head and the suit just all shifted to the left.
Yeah.
And what's it called? And I feel like that was like a Batman callback. They said the suits originally didn't fit. They had to put zippers on it so his head can turn.
Yeah. How do you feel about him making his own suit?
I mean, if that was some of the best material to make it out of, he was gonna make it out of the bat suit because they can hold up for that speed and durability you needed for what he was doing.
That's true.
It probably was too heavy too at the same time.
Yeah, probably so. Because his suit definitely seems thicker, but he also deals with like people shooting guns and stuff towards him, at him. So speed, he's not like, oh, let me get something so it can bounce off, or like speed isn't anything that he got to worry about. He's not dealing with the same kind of stuff Barry's dealing with. But how'd you feel about the fight scene of like you got the 2 flashes on the battlefield, Batman still in the air, Kara. All right, wait. Let's talk about Kara snapping real quick, because I'm not gonna lie, one of my favorite moments in this movie. Because when Zod was just like, yeah, so I need your blood, sis. Your cousin, he ain't make it. And she just snapped.
She put up a pretty decent fight. She put up a pretty good fight. I mean, she should have just went ahead and punched through him, or something. Because him and Clark fought for like an hour. Like if you go back to the other movie, they fought for like an hour, and Clark had to break his head, like snap his neck to end the fight. So I don't know, Kara. I don't know if Kara knew what was going on, because like she got him stuck up against the thing, and then she was trying to peel him off. I would have, man. She should just went ahead and just took him out the game.
Do you even still? Do you think she was strong enough to even deal with, like, to put up with him? I don't think she was. I don't think she would have been able to beat him.
It's not, because she got freed the same day. So now, like I said, these are a whole bunch of day one heroes with people that's been ahead of the game, true. Been fighting, been tested, trained, and stuff like that. So I don't know, man. This was a nice. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not. This isn't a twist, but I didn't expect what was happening or what was going to happen after that. Like I was just like, okay, so fuck Hollywood, because clearly they got a hard on for trying to kill Batman. I'm not understanding that.
Why do you think that?
Every movie that's included Batman has talked about him dying. Like there wasn't. What was it? Like even in the Zack Snyder universe, like that was for to kill Batman. The next movie was gonna kill Batman. Like no, I don't mean nothing. No, that's no.
I don't see Iron Man passed away.
Fuck Iron Man. He not Batman level.
So what's wrong with Batman dying?
A whole bunch. It's Batman. What you mean?
I mean, some people could feel that way about Iron Man.
Iron Man replaceable. There's been plenty of people that's put that on. You did have Dick. He was Batman for a little while. When they feel like they thought Batman was dead, but he was just missing. But nah, man, they doing everything they can to kill Batman in all these movies. Like the end of Who was the one that did Dark Knight Rises? Who did that? What's the nigga name?
Oh, Christopher Nolan.
Yeah, he killed Batman off at the end, where he comes back, but he somewhat kills him. And not Christopher, Zack Snyder at the end, he was gonna kill Batman. So I think he was gonna kill himself trying to some kind of way he was gonna die. And he was also messing with Lois Lane. So Lois Lane's gonna have a baby. Clark was gonna raise it, and they're gonna name it Bruce.
Wait.
Mm-hmm.
Was Lois dealing with Clark at the same time?
This is when Clark turned evil. Remember, at the end of the movie, Clark went evil. They was gonna go the injustice route to a certain extent.
So
Batman was gonna lead the Justice League to take down Superman, and he got killed. I think he killed him, but then Lois ended up being pregnant because she was messing with Batman. Mm-hmm. That's not why he killed him, but when he got killed.
Did Clark know that was Bruce's baby?
Yeah, he eventually found out.
Eventually, so
yeah.
Do I need to go back and watch? But that movie's like 4 fucking hours long.
It's not in the movie.
Damn.
I read the storyboard for the next movie.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not happening then.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God, this next story would have been crazy. I'm glad they didn't do it. You're not going to be killing Batman on screen. I don't want to see that.
We did see it a few times in this movie.
But in this movie, yes, they killed that man. So I don't know. I just feel like Batman a bit more savvy than, the way they had Michael. So in this fight, Kara fighting Zod, she begins to take him off the wall as opposed to just going ahead and killing him, but whatever. And he stabs her. She dies.
She was trying to use his controller on his arm. And I think she was trying to get that so she can try to tell the machines to get off of Earth.
Gotcha.
Except he was not unconscious. And he still had another arm.
He was up looking at her.
He just like, I see you. What are you doing?
I would have cut his arm off.
Yeah, something definitely needed to be done, but I feel like, what you just saying that this was all done in a day. Like sis got released from prison like 7 hours earlier than in this fight. So, I mean, of course, when you fresh out of prison and then you get in a fight later on, I ain't see her have lunch either. So you got to think about that. I feel like if they...
She just needed she just needed that sun.
I mean, a frap could have helped her too. Give us
a frappuccino.
Hell yeah, like a caramel frap. Them shit's fire. But I'm like, I would have just been like, all right, is everybody ready for this training? Like, let's come together. I mean, is Zod gonna destroy Earth today? Because if he was gonna give us like 30 days, shit, I'm chilling.
You think this Cell in the Cell games, don't you?
Look, hey, we got a week. All right, bet. Let's do some training for 5 days. Because obviously, she wasn't ready for that kind of fight. Now, I don't know if she's ever been in a battle before.
Technically, she's older than Clark.
Yeah. But has she been in a battle before? Because she even said like
that's what she was sent. That's what she was sent for.
She was sent to protect Clark, but she was like, Kryptonians are peaceful people. Normally, when you think, a whole group of people are peaceful, them niggas don't know how to fight.
I think they just regular niggas in their universe. The second part of it, they just regular people.
So they don't know how to fight. So
I mean, some of them knew how to fight. She had to.
Jason, she was beating Zod ass at this. She was like, "Whoo, I'm winded."
Hey yo.
She was like, "Damn, all right, it's a cloud in the sky. Come on, move past so I can get some of that sunlight." And then
shit! I just thought about that. You right?
That it was cloudy.
Yeah, the sun. I mean, because they need that. That's what.
I don't know if it was cloudy outside. We didn't get it. Oh shit! You're welcome.
Now I don't know how that. I don't know how much that affects them once they've gotten that energy in them. But clearly enough, she died. Then and then Batman out of no fucking where he does a kamikaze because he's unable to eject from it, which like that just don't seem like that's just not Batman. Batman always figures out Like he always
That's
figures it out.
but that's what I was saying at the beginning of the movie. Like you saw him at points to where like he didn't always figure it out or have to do it by himself. He needed that assistance. He needed, or he just lost. So you obviously saw him in a different space than you would any other movie. Because he's always written to succeed, achieve, and then get out of really fucked up situations unscathed. But in this movie, he didn't have that. He didn't have that plot armor that he always has in his movies. So that's what I was trying to say earlier. Yeah. I know they showed your hero at a weak point.
But Barry's still doing all right. So I got to take one or two in this one. And I know a lot of people had a problem with Barry being able to run into the past, but I feel like because Barry was running with him, it kind of I feel like that's what helped him be able to get into the past, like be able to run into that little chrono ball that they went into, like when they went into the Speed Force. Because when he was running, he just looked a certain way, but then when Barry ran beside him, it's like everything either slowed down or it gave him it took him into the actual Speed Force. How did you feel about Barry being able to run into the pad? Because they definitely they let you know Barry couldn't do everything. Like they made it very clear that nigga was not that nigga.
I thought it was interesting because, and with you just bringing that up, it reminded me because I watched the Flashpoint before we started reviewing this, and Barry in that movie wasn't able to get to the Speed Force or to that time realm because there was another speedster in that timeline. But obviously, it can happen here in this movie because we obviously see that it did. But I wasn't mad that young Barry was able to do it. It was very interesting because I can see why people would have an issue with it. To where it's just like, all right, this seems like something that you would learn years into this game, and he's only been a speedster for about 72 hours. But hey, it was written that way, and you kind of needed him there. But I appreciate the detail of once they got to, what is it called? I keep thinking of like the time realm, but that's not what that shit's called.
It's they call it the Chrono Bowl.
Chrono Bowl.
Yeah,
okay,
is what they called it.
Sound like some type of pasta dish.
It made me think of what's the name? Mortal Kombat. That's what it made me think of. Yeah. The last lady, she was the Chrono. She did whatever it is with time. She was something with time.
Yeah, Shinnok's sister. Or was that his mom? I think that was Shinnok's mom.
Their lore is too deep for me to remember any of that shit.
Yeah, I'll remember it, so don't worry about it. But no, I thought it was cool because once Older Barry realizes we can't change this. This is a event that can't be altered or changed. And I forgot the terminology that was used, but it also reminded me of when me and you talked. We spoke about the similar behavior in the What If series for Doctor Strange.
Absolute point.
Yes,
but they canon event in Spider-Man.
What do they call it in this movie? I feel like it was something different. It was a
something Bruce said it.
It was a inevitable intersection.
Yeah.
I made sure to write it down. So, because it was just like, there's nothing we can change about this. This universe is about to be destroyed.
It's gonna happen regardless.
Right. And so young Barry's just like, no, I need to go back. And at this point, this is when I was just like, he's probably that creature that pushed Barry at the beginning of the movie when he was going back in time. I was just like, that's who it was. He escalated into this villain because at first when I saw him, I thought it was Reverse Flash, but I was like, that's not what that nigga looked like. This look like a demon running around here. So I'm like, I don't know who that guy is, but then you see this is what young Barry turns into.
How'd you feel about this reveal?
I enjoyed it. I don't like the whole bowl aspect. So I don't like where they were. If it was more so of not like an arena style scene, but more like him running in a tunnel and you see the different events on their left and right and maybe above their heads to where they're looking and they see.
Yes, did you hear me say that earlier today?
What you mean? While we were recording?
Yeah.
I feel like I don't remember you saying that you would have preferred it that way.
No, so I didn't say that, but that's how the TV show does it.
And
The TV show,
that's how it was
he
in
just
Flashpoint.
so
Or
he's just
similar.
running and he can see. And I feel like they want to do something different to get away from that. And like I don't know if like I said that's on the PM. I'm just still iffy on.
I
Because
don't
like I said,
like.
go ahead.
I don't like how they did that. But then I also remember when you did make that point, you said Barry closed his eyes and then he could think about a moment in time and then you would see that vision. So I feel like if this was more so like him running in a tunnel, because that's kind of how they did it in Flashpoint, then like an arena. The arena aspect, I wasn't really much of a fan on, but the visuals of this movie was like crazy. So I was like, okay, it's not going to take away from it. But I'm like, I kind of wish I would have done it differently. But then I also understand when you start to see the different worlds collide and come in, then I was like, okay, that kind of makes sense of what y'all are trying to do with this.
Okay, yeah, I see. Yeah, it's like the because because I feel like they were trying to maybe do like a Crisis on Infinite Earth type of storyline.
Right.
But but when it comes to love or hate, like I said, I'm still iffy about it because like I said, I feel like at some point I feel like it's going to be done again. And I feel like it can be done a lot better, but I did enjoy it for what it was because I don't feel like he'll be running into the past anymore. Like outside of whenever him and Reverse Flash have their situation. But then of course, we have a lot of shout out to these comic book movies with the fan service. That's pretty much what I feel like this scene was.
Absolutely.
You got you Christopher Reeves and Helen Slater. Supposedly he was supposed to be in her either movie or TV show, but because his movie didn't do well, he decided not to do it. So it was dope to see them on screen together. CGI, whatever it is, like I said, that's something like I'm kind of iffy about. You see Nick Cage, that was also fan service. He was supposed to be Superman in the 90s, but that either it failed or it didn't work. Something happened, so it was dope to see him.
My theater went crazy.
I bet.
Like when you saw Nicolas Cage, they was like, "Oh my god!" And so I didn't know he was supposed to be Spider-Man in the 90s.
Superman.
So,
but yes,
Superman. Who would I say?
Spider-Man.
All right, my bad. But
Leonardo,
technically, in this scene, he was fighting a giant spider. That's what I was thinking about.
But I will say, Leonardo DiCaprio was supposed to be Spider-Man in the 90s. So you're welcome.
Leo be out here telling people don't be in a superhero movie.
Yeah.
Like
he told it, he gave the job to his best friend.
Yo, that's crazy. Like that's crazy. Like, so you mean to tell me you would skip out on a superhero movie, but then you want to call Jamie Foxx a nigga? Nah, I'm playing. Because I enjoy Django and I'm a Leonardo the fan. So
yeah, Leo that dude. We also have Jay Garrick, which is the Flash with the old hat when he was running in the other universe. Excuse me. But yeah, you just see like you said, the worlds are collapsing. Everything happening, and Barry realized, he's the issue, he's the problem that's being caused, and then you see Barry come up on them. Like I said, in the TV show, well, in the comics, it's a guy named Savitar. Savitar was Barry who got obsessed with the Speed Force and kept going back trying to change things, but it just wasn't working. So he wanted to take Flash. He wanted to actually take Flash speed because he thought that was going to be what solved the actual issue. That was like a big reveal on the TV show. I was just like, oh shit, he got to fight himself. Oh. But it was like the future, and the way they figured it out is instead of him killing himself, because that would have killed Barry, but Reverse Flash, which was played by a lot of different people because they do the multiverse.
Right.
He played as Iris. And Iris got killed because that's how it was supposed to end. Iris was supposed to die in front of Barry. So they see this happening, but then he in the season first started, he had this thing that can change your body and change who you were. And then he reveals himself. It turns out to be Reverse Flash or H.G. Wells, and it was just like super emotional scene, but it wasn't Iris. She wasn't even around, and Barry didn't even know. They did everything without Barry even knowing. So I don't know if this is supposed to be Savitar. So he's Savitar in my head. But you see on the field when they was doing it, like I said, he didn't know how to really phase. So when the stuff was going on the battlefield, he was phasing, it got stuck in him. So every time he went back out to the field, you see him come back with a new scar or a new scratch or something that's inside his skin because he don't know how to get it back out. He's like, just give me one more time. I can fix it. I can fix it. I can fix it. I felt real. I felt at that point, I saw him like, oh man, I hate this nigga the entire movie. Now I'm feeling bad. He finna die. Like I know I'm like at this point he gotta die. Like there's nothing else that can. At this moment, it gotta happen.
And I like that older Barry was just in that same spot, seeing young Barry try to change.
He didn't even go back out no more.
Nah, he was just like, Barry, stop. You're not fixing anything. And then you see Kira die multiple ways. You see Batman die multiple ways. And he's just like, all right, my nigga, just stop. And so I like this scene because then he was just like, I'm the one who pushed you out just so you can get me back to this point. And he was just like, you created me, you're my hero, but you're also the reason why I can't fix everything. So he's like, I gotta kill you. So then we see young Barry have that moment of, I have to save him. And then he pulls out the bear that he had under his suit the entire time. Like, was this scene emotional for you, or were you just like, nah, that nigga had to go? You probably was like, nah, that nigga had to go. I mean, he did.
It was emotional. I'm not gonna lie to you. It was definitely emotional. Because I mean, I don't know. It was like, it was that moment of you just coming to realization, like, damn, the inevitable really is Barry got to die for this to stop. Like, because we too far into it. Like, there's nothing that can change, nothing can happen outside of Barry going back to his correct timeline. So yeah, the last little ending part of this movie was super emotional. From when Barry gets killed because Barry charges at them. Like I said, so we're gonna say Savitar. Savitar was the evil Barry, basically young Barry, years later, who had been doing this for years, trying to figure out how to save his timeline. And he gets stabbed by him, and he dies in Barry's arms.
And he goes back.
Yeah, he goes back one more time to take the tomato can out of his mom's cart, which I wonder if him having this interaction with her is part of the problem.
I think that is, and then
you think she knew?
I don't think she knew, but it just seems like from like watching it the first time, it doesn't seem like it's an interaction that would stick too much. Of like her having an interaction with somebody in a grocery store, all of that other stuff. It's just like, not that big of a deal, but not like with him moving the cans from the bottom shelf to the top shelf. Because then you see,
I don't know. Because,
do you think it probably could have delayed anything, or maybe she was talking to him and then was like, "Oh, let me make sure," to where she ended up getting the tomato sauce herself? Well, no, because the dad went back.
She still died. No, she still died.
Yeah.
And he still went back to the store. So now I mean, because she said, she asked him, can I hug you? And like, have you ever had a moment like that? Like, no, probably not.
Not. Well, damn. Let me say no before you say. Probably
I'm just saying,
not. Like a stranger just hugging me out of nowhere.
I mean, through conversation.
No.
I've had that happen before. It was I don't know. I don't know. He whatever. Not to get too personal, but like whatever I was going through at that moment, he just said it like in conversation. I was like, "Nigga, you stalking my life, my nigga? What the fuck?" And then he was like, "Do you mind if I hug you?" Like, because I when I was in that moment, I needed it, and I was just like, "Damn!" And I broke down because it was. I mean, it's just that sometimes you can just see a person and like just through the conversation, but just based on how he was talking to her, you can tell he was going through something or he was facing something that was tough. So that was nice. They hugged. He did his, I love you more, but I loved you first moment. It ain't no I Love You 3000, but it was definitely emotional. It was definitely emotional.
I remember I used to do that. It was I love you more, and it was a third one, but I forgot what the third one was.
Obviously, you ain't loved nobody in a long time.
You got me. You got me.
But then I do that, and then this is when I was like, "Oh shit!" Barry rearranged all the damn tomatoes in the store,
Yeah,
huh?
pretty much.
So he said, "You're gonna change it one way or another. Something's gonna be affected in a different way." He makes it back to his timeline. He goes to the court. You know, they playing the video. We already know the video. Dad doesn't look up because the tomatoes are at the bottom. But they rearranged everything, so Dad has to look up. He looks into the camera. He gets off in this case, and they ask him how he feel about it, and he kind of tells them about the tomato cans, and like, yeah, I know it didn't make no sense at all.
I'm curious who else shopped at this store to where the rearranged tomatoes affected their life as well. And why is there not any more cameras in this store, like maybe pointing at the registers?
Yeah,
that could also
that
help.
part.
I like, nigga, where you shopping at? That's not Aldi.
I mean, but you know, a lot of these stores like that, man. But them, you just thinking based on their neighborhood, you would think they'd be a little bit more cautious.
I mean, like, you can
in
go
a
to
situation
like
that.
Target and it's fucking cameras in the aisle.
On self checks.
Hello. I be sitting there like, damn, ain't nobody selling my hair sticking up. They're walking around this bitch like for 30 minutes. Ain't nobody tell me. But it was also, I guess, during the time 10 years ago. So this is
2013, Jazz.
It wasn't, I don't remember cameras being in the aisles.
Nah, they wasn't that heavy back then.
But they was still pointing at the motherfucking register.
Yeah, they would have found them somewhere in there.
But that would have took away from the story.
Yeah,
you only need one camera.
Then reverse flash, probably in that bitch switching cameras real quick.
That would have been wild.
We'll see. I think, man, we gonna see. They gotta be. We gotta see reverse flash on camera. Them fighting in the Speed Force. That's gonna be something to see. He gonna be dragging Barry, but he ain't gonna die. We're gonna drag him through the Speed Force, show him how to really turn that shit up on him one time.
How A-Train did, dude, and
yeah,
and the boys. But then we thinking everything is cool. Barry's on the phone with Bruce.
I knew it was gonna be something. I didn't think I don't know who I thought it was gonna be though.
You didn't think it was gonna be Ben Affleck coming out of the car?
No, they already said it wasn't gonna be Ben Affleck.
Who was they? I had no idea. I'm glad they don't talk to me because I'd have been like, don't.
Yeah, they said that he on the film. I mean, so I didn't talk to him about it, but I remember when they was filming the movie, and it was just like, you know, he filmed this one scene. He wasn't in the rest of the movie. So like the ending, which I'm actually shocked. Like nobody spoiled the ending, but then I guess nobody went to go see the movie neither, huh? So I'm shocked that they're spoiling the end. Like most people, like even with the blogs, like still talking, they just say that crazy end. What you think about it? They saying different stuff like that. So I knew it was gonna be somebody different, but I didn't know who they were gonna go for that. I know originally they did film with. It was supposed to end with Bruce, Michael Keaton's Bruce, and Supergirl at the court. That's how it was supposed to end. But they changed it. So a lot of stuff got changed. I do feel like they gave us the best possible story or movie based on the information that we did have. But like I said, you got that phone call. It wasn't Michael Keaton.
That's who I thought was going to come out the car.
He was supposed to. It was supposed
to be Michael Keaton you said
Supergirl just gonna fly in.
Oh, got you.
She was gonna fly in to that last scene. I mean, because they're supposed to continue their story doing others. That's what the Wonder Girl, Batgirl story came in. All those different things, but they can that as well. So a lot of these changes have to be made. Then the same badass car pull up, but this time it's cool ass George Clooney, Batman and Robin, Jazz favorite Batman movie.
He's lying.
He pulled.
So I'm not gonna lie. When I saw George Clooney come out, I completely forgot that he was Batman in the earlier movies. Completely forgot. I was just like, "Damn, George, you looking good, old man." The beard was looking nice.
Nah, George Clooney look real good.
Yeah. I was like, y'all got Michael Keaton out here looking crazy, but here go damn George Clooney rolling up, fresh to death. I said, y'all ain't shit.
Clean.
But theater went crazy for this scene.
I bet.
I was just sitting here like, this is why they didn't dead this movie, because a number of fucking cameos.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a whole bunch. Because I mean, they say even in the beginning, originally, Henry had more. Like Henry was gonna be in the movie, like actually being there. So they had to cut that. So I'm just based on this. I've seen the fucking original Justice League, and I've seen the Snyder cut of the Justice League. If you can cut a movie because he said the director who did get the next Batman movie, The Brave and the Bold, which is going to be about whichever Batman, maybe George Clooney, I don't know, and his son. That's going to be the story that they're going to have. So for them, he said that his Flash movie actually like 4 hours long. So, but he said he don't think that'll ever, be put out. So everything they got cut, it'll be interesting. It would be interesting to see, the original vision for a movie. But of course, as studios come in, DC went through turmoil after COVID. Like DC is a whole from TV shows on HBO to CW to the movies, studio to canceling things. I do feel like this was some of the best, and I think you said this is one of the. What was the last DC movie you liked?
DC movie?
Mm-hmm.
It was probably the first Wonder Woman, but prior to that, of course, Dark Knight Rises.
I'm not mad at that.
So DC live action has been in my shit bag for a couple of years, but I will praise their animated movies in a heartbeat.
Got you. So yeah, man. But that was before that, he drops a nice ass F-bomb. Because Barry didn't know who the fuck it was, and
I'm sitting here like, who the fuck is this? Compared to open the fucking door, and I'm like, yeah. Now you see which one is better.
Yeah, James Gunn typically does a great job with his scripts and things of that nature. But sometimes you can't land every joke. You can't land every one of them.
But how did you feel about the post-credit scene with Aquaman, Jason Momoa, after he destroyed Dom and his family and all that other shit? He was like, all right, let me go holler at my nigga Barry.
So he was just drunk, right? Like he was just drunk as a skunk.
It was a pointless post-credit.
Yeah. I thought it was like them pretty much saying he wasn't gonna be. I thought there was like a nod to he's not gonna be that guy moving forward in this story. I thought that's what they were trying to say.
I don't know what they were trying to say, but I was just like, this wasn't worth sitting here for. But post credits can be hit or miss. But I believe that is the end of The Flash. Was there anything else you wanted to add for the film?
I do not.
I have a question for you because you've also seen Flash Paradox, right?
I did.
This might not be a fair comparison, but fuck it. Which one was a better story? Or a better movie, between The Flash and Justice League, The Flash Paradox. Flashpoint Paradox, excuse me.
Flashpoint Paradox, I think, was better. Just given the story, because it was more in depth. But they also did a lot of stuff that like when it comes to animation, you typically can do a lot of stuff you can't get away with in the real movie. Not saying they couldn't follow it, but yeah, I think that was done better.
All right. And then also, I forgot to mention, when we got Michael Keaton in this movie, they played the old Batman theme music that was his from his 2 movies with Tim Burton, which I appreciated because we got it when we first introduced. We got it in 2 different scenes, and I believe it was when they were on the final battle, and then I believe it was when they got to Russia, when Ezra put his knee up on Michael Keaton, and he was like, "Nah, that's not what we doing." But I definitely appreciated them playing his original theme music in this movie. I thought that was dope. But was there any other movie points before we get to our Link of Thrones?
I don't think so. I mean, it'd be interesting to see how they continue the story, because I feel like this was the ending of the Snyderverse for sure. So if they're gonna, I don't know if they're gonna keep,
They're not keeping
Ezra.
that shit, Jason. Ezra need to get up out of here.
It may be best. It may be best, but we'll see how they go about it.
I feel like they put a lot of eggs in that basket for this movie to be a major hit. And unfortunately.
So, I mean, what would you have done? Let me ask you that, since we legend and putting things. So you run DC. DC is not doing well. Suicide Squad just hit. But even with Suicide Squad, they had to put that on. That was just direct to streaming. Just given everything that was going on. You have a Flash movie. You've already created it. The story is done. The movie is done. You have all these different scenes, but now you the new head. So what are you doing with this movie? You just spent $200 million. What are you doing?
Well, if I'm Warner Discovery, you said I just spent $200 million. That's nothing to me, because they spend that on a lot of their movies. $200 million is a lot for us. But for like studios,
I mean, so okay, within that,
but
so
then I gotta think about all the stuff. And yeah, we've been taking L's. I'm saying we, like I'm working for
Warner about Discovery. To go they almost going bankrupt within this.
Right. But then I'm thinking releasing this movie with the marketing for it and with Ezra's shit that popped off last year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, if we release it, can we afford the backlash? So that's what I'm thinking. It's just like, if we don't, or even if you send it straight to your streaming services, kind of like what Black Widow did, Disney with Black Widow, when nobody could go to the movies. But I mean, it's just, I don't think or hell, you probably could reshoot, but then again, what's going to cost more? So if reshooting is cheaper, I'm going to reshoot. But
can't reshoot the whole movie though.
You couldn't, but
I mean, you could, but then you at 400 million.
If you do, then it's definitely going to push your release date, which you already pushed your release date for Aquaman. But realistically, if
all the releases got pushed, this movie supposed to come out like originally like 2018.
This movie was?
Yeah, everything got moved and
Wait, how was this supposed to release in 2018? What pushed it to now?
Whatever happened with the Zack Snyder situation. You have so many different things that went on in the midst of all those situations. Then COVID. So then, I mean, it was so many different things.
I guess in my mind, I would think, obviously, the universe is telling me not to drop this fucking movie. If you got a movie that got pushed 5 years, because it was something like multiple things getting in the way, and then you finally release it and it doesn't do well. Look, Jason, does that not seem like a sign to you? But, and especially being that like a lot of people, I mean, I don't know. Ezra doing his shit really fucked it up, because you have people that, of course, it's hard to separate an actor from their project and all of those things. So, and then you think about what exactly he was doing. Like, I mean, I don't know. What would you have done?
What they did, release
Mhm.
it. Because I'm saying is that a lot of TV shows, a lot of movies, we'll never see. We can't see. So like I said, within this, that would have been the Supergirl movie. That would have been a Batgirl movie. Michael Keaton would have come back. So there's a lot of things that got canned because of everything that was going on and because of the financial situation. Well, like I said, when it comes to financial situation, I don't know, but I knew they couldn't. After spending 200 million, they're not going to put that movie out.
And then, I mean, didn't hypothetically they came across those troubles because they did the merger with Discovery?
And I'm saying, why are you merging if you're doing it well? That's like I said. So I feel like there was a lot of, but I mean, we see a lot of the industries doing this stuff. Like they're I don't know who the hell getting all this money, but
I
just I
mean,
mean,
it's like a lot of these companies merge and they make money. Warner did it and they lost money. But it's all about business. So it's one of those things to where, and of course, the attention span of individuals is short. I'm not sure why Aquaman got pushed an entire year, but last year they were saying Amber she would not be in no more than 10 minutes of the movie. And then I'm hearing now none of her stuff got cut.
so Flash was. I mean, so Flash, Aquaman, and Shazam, they all got pushed. They were
Right.
both all the movies supposed to come out last year, but then they got moved to this year.
But didn't Aquaman get pushed the most? Because that was supposed to drop in December of last year. And
No, they
now it's
both. I
dropping.
mean, well, So yeah, so they were both supposed to come out like within months of each other, and then Shazam came, and then they pushed Aquaman like you said, a whole year and a half after. Because I feel like was Shazam last year?
Don't ask
Was
me
it two
about that
years
shit.
ago?
You know I'm not following that shit. I ain't even following Flash or wasn't following Flash. But I mean, either way, we got it. And well, let me ask you this. Do you feel like what you saw, is it worth them even trying to pursue a sequel?
Yes,
No,
for sure.
with all the drama and all of that stuff,
Yes,
and with this
easily.
movie not doing well
Yeah.
as they had hoped. You think it's good to do a
Uh,
sequel?
yeah, I do. I do. I think it's a. I mean, it's not a story you can just given everything that comes with it. You do a sequel or a reboot, whatever it is you do, you have to. I mean, you have to change the character, or you would have to really I don't show good faith. This nigga is not who y'all said he was. Like it's gonna have to be one of the two. But Flash is one of the most interesting to me characters. So yeah, there has to be a follow up within that. But like I said, even if it's a reboot, they redo it just a completely different way, or if they do a sequel and they just replace the person, like you know, Barry dies anyway, so shit, it's a million ways they can redo this. He can just get killed off screen and they bring in Kid Flash.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. The director said this movie was not in no danger. We're not gonna replace Ezra. None of that.
He said that.
That's what they said. The director said,
Yeah,
but the studio has the last word at the end of the day, so it doesn't matter.
this is true. This is true.
But
But let me
Link.
see when
Oh, you got
I was like, when did this come out again?
what?
The 16th came out. What came out? Um, this
June
past
16th,
yeah past weekend. So
last month.
with the yeah, so he's right. He's right. So last month June 16th. So we'll see what it ends up doing, financially, but it ain't there just yet.
Yeah, I've been seeing mixed reviews. So
It ain't there just yet. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. It's the hate warranted because it's not even hate because of the person. It's hate because of the movie.
right. Well,
What you ranking this?
I mean, I enjoyed this movie.
I know what would like out of 10. What would you rank it?
I'd probably give it like a 7, 7.5.
I got
Uh,
it an
when
8.
when I did my rewatch, it didn't irritate me. I was like, okay, it was entertaining. Like I would definitely go back and rewatch this before I rewatch the Batman movie.
Sick of you.
I was just comparing it to the last DC movie that dropped.
That shit was fire. I don't know that shit. It's
Oh, all
definitely
right.
better than. It's definitely better than that.
You can probably see fire in the movie. That's about it. Yeah, because it fire produces light. Because that shit was.
Hey, all right. You good? You good? You good? Where you at, man? Chill out.
Are you ready for the Link of Thrones?
I am ready, young ma'am.
All right. Well, for anybody new, our Link of Thrones is where we pretty much mention a actor or actress from the movie that we just reviewed and another project that they are in or going to be in, just to put you on to another project, something that we may have or may not have seen, but just get you know their catalog. So, Jason, who is your Link of Thrones from this film?
My Link of Thrones is going to be Mr. Ron Livingston. This was Barry's father. He plays in this show called A Million Little Things. Yeah, that show. Yeah, that's a wild one, but I will just throw it out there. If you have the mental capacity for a show of that nature, I think that's a very brilliantly written show. He plays a man by the name of Jonathan Dixon, who lost his battle with the world. So he takes his life, and we just see the spiral of things that happen. Well, because of this, what happens within his own family life, but also within his friend circle, which includes his best friend tapping his wife, and her having that baby. So yeah, it's wild.
I feel like I've seen that before, but
They got Romany in there.
I think I was thinking of the movie, the Denzel Washington movie with
Okay,
Jared Leto.
That's
what I was thinking.
No,
That trash.
All right.
Nah, it was trash.
Who is your Link of Throne, man? Because we're not doing this.
My Link of Thrones is going to be Ben Affleck, and I am going to do deep. I'm going to do Deep Water. I believe it is on Hulu or Amazon Prime. Every time Ben Affleck is in a movie, he always gets dogged out by the woman that he is involved with. That's all I'm going to say about that. But very decent movie.
How many movies he get? That's on Hulu. How many movies done got dogged out?
Well, Gone Girl, sis was kind of crazy. Deep
was
Water, sis was kind of crazy. And I feel like that bum ass movie with him and J-Lo. Geely.
I didn't watch that shit.
I ain't watch it either, but I'm going to say she dogged him out because I don't know nobody who saw it. So me saying that, they'll probably be like, damn, for real? So, yeah.
That's wild. Okay, Deep Water. Okay. I forgot you said it was resetting because I'm fit to say, hold on. I feel like you got to say it.
Nah, Deep Water was never used.
It was never used? Okay.
No.
Okay. So. Yeah, that was a solid little movie created by the people from Euphoria.
Yeah.
So of course they gonna make some toxic shit like that. Speaking of Euphoria, we got this toxic movie with Zendaya coming out called Challengers.
Is it toxic though? She was just out here living her life and being a successful tennis player.
Do you think that's gonna go well with them gentlemen in that situation, brothers or not?
From the trailer that I seen.
From one scene,
they seemed like that was cool.
No, it didn't. It didn't seem that way.
It might have escalated as they got older, but at that time,
hey. I mean, we always know one situation. It made me think of also I know I threw out there. What did I say? What I said something. It made me think of some movie, but I said Cruel Intentions. But when I'm looking back, I made me think about you remember that? You ever seen that?
I do with Julia Stiles
and Mekhi Phifer.
Yes.
That Mekhi Phifer? Yeah, that Mekhi Phifer. And Josh Hartnett.
He was so mischievous in that damn movie. I would say, if anything, it reminds me of the movie Savages, which is on Netflix. Or
I thought
was on
about that too,
Netflix.
but I wasn't picking it though because I feel like you was gonna say that.
That movie, like the first 20 minutes.
I bet you. I bet.
That's
I
all I
bet.
got.
Shout out to Aaron Taylor Johnson. He's out here working.
He was in that. Mm-hmm.
Look at your face. Look at this. But shout out to him because he done went from he definitely getting his comic book on. He was in Kick Ass. He was Quicksilver in Avengers. He was in Bullet Train, which is also based on the comic book, and now he is Craven. So we get that at some point this year.
I believe September.
October.
I was close. But yes. So, is there anything else you wanted to mention, Jason?
No, man. I think I nerded out as much as I needed to within this episode. Like I said, Barry Allen is definitely one of my favorite heroes. So I'm glad we finally got a full length movie with him. So I'm very excited to see what they do with this character. It's going to be interesting to see how James Gunn goes about this. How James Gunn goes about this entity with DC. I was listening to his interview. He's excited. He's really excited. He was about to leave the industry altogether. But him getting fired from Marvel when he did, and them bringing him back, he said that was like the biggest thing for him. Him just finally feeling like he was. He said he didn't feel like he was loved prior to that. Then after that, he felt like he was loved. He said when he got fired, just the overwhelming people that's just coming to celebrate him, support him, and just say they had his back. He said he felt down for a day, but after that, he felt great about himself. And he said he considers himself a storyteller before a director. So he said the story is the most important thing. Then he goes into it, and he said, like I said, he had a Superman script ready. He's gonna be introducing some big things from what I've seen. He's still hush on it because he is currently looking at cast for the movie, and he said it took him years to find a Star-Lord. So it'll be interesting. And he said Chris was not who they landed on in the beginning. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see his process and how he goes about this. I have a lot of faith in James.
All right. Are we done with our dick riding session? That's what's up.
Crazy. That is crazy. If you was dick riding, you want me to celebrate you. Just could. Okay. Yeah. No more dick for Jazz. How about that?
No, dick for Jazz. Nah. Nah, that's what's up though. Damn, I was about to. Nah. So when you said when he got fired from Marvel for the first time and then they came back, it's kind of like Marvel indirectly created their arch nemesis, but didn't realize it.
Man, I'm pretty sure they knew. Like I'm sure they knew.
I mean, like with that firing and then with him actually getting that position for DC.
I mean, yeah. I mean, so when he got fired, and I don't know if it was warranted or not, but it is what it is. They brought him. They rehired him to do.
Because the entire cast or majority cast of Guardians was like, "We not fucking with y'all until y'all bring him back," which is love. But then it's one of those things where it's just like y'all fired me for, I think it was tweets about Trump, and it's just like, for the longest, in my mind, in my opinion, I don't think DC has been able to match Marvel's energy for a very long time. But now I feel like with them switching up what they're about to do and bring to us, DC is going to probably be in a position to where they can compete against Marvel. But we'll see. We'll see.
That conversation, we what's it, 3? Now we got 4 years off. So in 4 years, let's see if any of these movies, the energy be the same around these movies.
I'm so now for the simple fact that Kang's Dynasty and Secret Wars got pushed, they're not going to come out the same year as the Batman 2.
One of them is.
I thought I thought got pushed to 2026 and 2027. Batman is
That man is
2025.
2027. I thought it was 2027. You sure?
I thought Batman was 2025.
I mean,
But I mean, realistically, you still have the writer's strike going on, so any of that stuff can get delayed.
anything can get pushed
so,
back.
I mean, you can't
Everything.
really trust anything at this point. So, we can speculate all day long, but
Okay,
they're
so
looking
yeah,
for a Harvey
2025.
Dent. So,
Harvey. Oh shit, they are. I've been seeing that.
Josh Hartnett, and I forgot the other gentleman's name.
I like Josh. I love the resurgence of Josh. He kind of disappeared for a moment.
He took a break from acting, but then seeing him in a lot of these projects, and then for anybody who is a Black Mirror fan, he isn't in the latest season.
Really?
Damn.
I haven't got it.
Yeah. Watch that. Yeah. Don't rush though.
I'm not rushing. I gotta finish season 5. So that's where I'm at.
That's only 3 episodes. So
I know, but they're an hour apiece.
Black Mirror hasn't been good since season 4. That's just
really. You didn't care for season 6 like that?
It was not as good as season 4.
Somebody said season 2. Somebody said season 2 is when they peaked. I was like, I said season 4 was great. Like 5 out of them 6 stories they had in 4 was great.
3 and 4, they had the most episodes that were fire.
2 was good. Well, 2, I think 2. One of the 2 didn't. I love how they tied 2 up with the last episode, but it's basically with John Hamm, and he was showing them how to use the technology they had been using the entire season, and he got banned from using technology ever again because somebody died, and he watched it, and
White Christmas.
White Christmas, yeah.
White Christmas was fire. Yeah. Yeah.
But 3 and 4, 3 and 4, yeah, it's a tit for tat in between 3 and 4. Like, God, dog.
You're not gonna get that energy in 6. Sorry.
She just killed it for me, huh? Secret Invasion.
We just dropped our bonus.
Secret Invasion, man. Marvel. I love when you make a movie and you forget it's about you forget it's a hero TV show. Like, take me out of it. Bring me just making a movie, then add that shit afterwards. Like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I'm ready for the next episode. But for anybody listening, check out our bonus episode for Secret Invasion.
Yes, please check those out. Yeah, man. Episode 56. The Flash.
Yeah.
This is Jason. Jazz, did you have any last minute comments?
No, definitely. Of course, I always want to give a shout out to everybody that shows love, shows support, viewers, listeners. We definitely appreciate it, and definitely want to give a shout out to all the podcasts that we engage with, interact with, and show support with. We're a part of a community that's very welcoming and supportive. So shout out to y'all.
Yes, please. Shout out to everybody who's listening. I don't want to repeat Jazz too much, but again, we do appreciate you. Appreciate everybody for listening. Again, this was episode 56, The Flash. Thank you for joining us. You have a nice evening, morning, and good night.
Drive safe, y'all. Cheers. They might not be driving. Walk safely, roll safely. Get to where you going.
Have you get to your destination, do it safe. S-A-F-E. I said slave.
Jason was on his Flash vibes. He said that fast. Cheers.